Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. My name is CaptDaf, and this morning I am playing Forest of Doom because it is not Skyrim Sunday. It is time for something a bit different. I am not sure if this will even capture, so we'll see how this goes. I need to close this, and I could close this, and okay, let's try this. Forest of Doom. It's already running. It's a choose your own adventure game from It's really loud. Let's just dial that all the way down. Wow, alright, cool. My speaker volume, like my internal Windows speaker volume, has no missing the great intro here. Here we go. My speaker volume has absolutely zero control over the output desktop volume, so I'm just sort of having to guess that on the slider in OBS, and hopefully it's fine, and please let me know if it's not. Oh good! Thank you! It's been a while. Fighting fantasy is certainly how this works. Let's try options. Yeah, there's music on or off. There is no volume control at all. Thanks, Tin Man Games. Oh, there we go. My chatbot's here now. But yeah. So I'm just going to wait a little bit for some folks to jump in the chat and then we'll get started. I really need to look into these macro buttons. I have a bunch of macro buttons. I don't know what they do. Oh, Zenrovo! Thank you so much for the host. Oh, as my neck goes crick. I'm an old man. Okay, good. It's like, where's the red light from my microphone? Oh, it's hiding behind the rim of my shield. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's Sunday morning here. It's 10 AM. I've been awake for about 2 hours. I've had one coffee. That's perfectly okay. It's fine. No, look, they're here. See? They've joined /n. Why is there a /n? I don't know. It's fine. So that's how that works from the other end. Good to know. Good morning, everybody. Hello, everyone from Kate's channel. I'm CaptDaf, and today I'm playing a choose your own adventure game called The Forest of Doom. It's by Tin Man Games, sort of in the style of Fighting Fantasy. Fighting Fantasy were a series of books, choose your own adventure books that you and your friends could go through, and it's like one of you would be a wizard, and one of them would be a fighter, and one of them would be a thief. And it was sort of like a text adventure, because it's in a physical book. And you could, if you want to fight this guy, then go to page 4. And if you want to jump out the window, go to page 38. And then you see what happens. And sometimes there's box text where you can't do anything. And that certainly happens here. So, in theory, let's play Forest of Doom. Restart the book. Ooh. Because I've played this before. Let's restart the book. It's a fighting fantasy game book. An interactive adventure where we are the hero. We get to choose one of 3 difficulty settings. Let's choose adventurer. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, we really are restarting the book. Okay, we need to roll our stamina using the dice. 6. That's below average. Now we determine our skill. Roll our skill. 6. That's above average. And now our luck. 5. That's pretty good. And we get a potion. Do we want a potion of skill, a potion of strength, or a potion of fortune? Let's take luck. No, but okay. Alright, now we can begin. We're an adventurer, a sword for hire, roaming the northern borderlands of our kingdom. Having spurned the dullness of village life, we wander the lands in search of wealth and danger. Despite the long walks and rough outdoor life, we are content with our unknown destiny. The world holds no fears for us as a skillful warrior, well practiced in the art of slaying evil men and beasts with our trusty sword. Not once during the last 10 days since entering the northern borderlands have you set eyes upon another person. This does not worry us at all, as we are happy with our own company and enjoy the slow, sunny days, hunting, eating, and sleeping. It is evening, and having feasted on a dinner of rabbit, spit roasted upon an open fire, we settle down to sleep beneath our sheepskin blanket. There's a full moon, and the light sparkles on the blade of our broadsword, skewered into the ground by our side. We gaze at it, wondering when we will next have to wipe the blood of some vile creature from its sharp edge. These are strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. As the flame of our campfire gently dies, we begin to drift asleep, and images of screaming, green-faced trolls flicker through our mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to our left, we hear a loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. We leap up and grab our sword from the ground. We stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on our unseen adversary. Then we hear a groan, followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? Slowly we walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from and carefully pull back the branches. We look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. We crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice 2 crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump, chainmail-clad torso. Picking him up, we carry him over to the fire and stir the dying embers to life. After covering him with a sheepskin blanket, we manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixedly ahead, and starts to shout, "I'll get them! I'll get them!" Oh wow, I leant full tilt into that without being prepared. That was a great voice, but yeah, it just killed my throat right then. Don't you fear, Gillibrand? Big Leg is coming to bring you the hammer. Oh yes, indeed I am. Oh yes. The dwarf, whose name we presume to be Big Leg, is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolts lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. His eyes stare unblinkingly at you, and again he starts to shout, "Ambush! Look out! Ambush! Ah, the hammer! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Save the dwarves!" His eyes half close as the pain seems to ease a little, and as the delirium subsides, he speaks to you again in a low whisper. "Help us, friend! Take the hammer to Gillibrand! Only the hammer will unite our people against the trolls! We were on our way to Darkwood in search of the hammer, ambushed by the little people. Others killed. The map in my pouch will take you to the hammer of Yostrabo, the master mage of these parts. He has the great magics for sale to protect you against the creatures of Darkwood. Take my gold. I beg you to find the hammer and take it to Gillibrand, my lord of Stonebridge. You will be well rewarded." Big Leg opens his mouth to start another sentence, but nothing comes out except his last dying breath. Does he have a first dying breath? You sit down and ponder Bigleg's words. Who is Gillibrand? Who is Yaztromo? What is all the fuss about the dwarvish hammer? You reach over to the still body of Bigleg and remove the pouch from the leather belt around his waist. Inside we find 30 gold pieces and a map. Here's a map of the Darkwood Forest with Yaztromo's tower, the hills, Stonebridge, a river, another river, and some bridges. Jingling the coins in our hand, we think of the possible rewards which may await us for just returning a hammer to a village of dwarves. What could possibly go wrong? We decide to try and find the hammer in Darkwood Forest. It's been a few weeks since our last good battle, and, what's more, we're likely to be well paid for this one. With our minds made up, we settle down to sleep, having taken back the sheepskin blanket from poor Pigleg, who doesn't need it anymore because he's dead. In the morning, we bury the old dwarf and gather up our possessions. We examine the map, look up to the sun and find our bearings. Whistling merrily, we head off south at a good pace, eager to meet this man Yaztromo and see what he has to offer. Our walk to Yaztromo's takes a little over half a day, and we arrive at his stone tower, dirty and hungry. As the tower is set back on the edges of Darkwood some 50 meters from the path we have been following, difficult to find. Finally, we walk up to the huge oak door, somewhat relieved to find that it does exist and that Bigleg had not been speaking wildly in his delirium. A large brass bell and gong hang from the stone archway. As we ring the bell, a shiver runs down our spine, and we realize that the loud bong invades a deep silence which we had not noticed before. There are no sounds of birds or animals to be heard. We wait anxiously at the door and hear slow footsteps descending the stairs from the tower above. A small wooden slot in the door slides open, and 2 eyes appear and examine us. "Well, who are you?" demands a grumpy voice through the hole. We answer that we are an adventurer in search of the master mage Yaztromo, intending to purchase magical items from him to combat the creatures of Darkwood Forest. "Oh, well, in that case, if you are interested in buying some of my merchandise, you'd better come up. I'm Yaztromo." He then turns and slowly climbs the stone stairs. Should we follow him up the stairs or draw our sword to attack him? And I've just realised that I haven't actually tweeted that I'm streaming. So I'll do that now. Weigh in on chat. That's why I wanted to do a choose your own adventure game. That's not the button I'm looking for. That's the button I'm looking for. And now for something a bit different. Cool. I return. Well, chat seems very quiet, so let's follow him up the stairs. We follow the huffing and puffing old man in his tattered robes up the spiral staircase to a large room at the top of the tower. Shelves, cupboards, and cabinets line the walls, all filled with bottles, jars, weapons, armor, and all manner of strange artifacts. Nostromo shuffles past the general clutter and slumps down in an old oak chair. He reaches into his top pocket and pulls out a fragile pair of gold-rimmed spectacles. Placing these on his nose, he picks up a piece of slate and chalk from a table next to his chair and begins to write frantically. He then hands us the slate. There are several things that he would like to sell us. A potion of healing, a potion of plant control, a potion of stillness, a potion of insect control, a potion of anti-poison, holy water, a ring of light, boots of leaping, a rope of climbing, a net of entanglement, an armband of strength, a glove of missile dexterity, a rod of water finding, garlic buds, a headband of concentration, fire capsules, and nose filters. All of the items are... the instructions for use are really clicking on the labels attached to the items, together with their suggested use. He sighs and tells us that unfortunately the magic in the items only works once, but they're the best we can buy for the money. He then asks us the reason for the purchase of our items, and we tell him our story and our decision to continue the quest of the luckless big leg. No, I want to go back one. Okay, we are back one. Okay, good. So, we can buy a bunch of things. We've got 30 gold, so we can buy 10 things if we really want to. I'm going to buy an armband of strength. It increases the strength of the user's arm when worn. Seems reasonable. And we can't buy 2 of them. A rope of climbing sounds pretty useful. Let's see. Boots of leaping also sounds useful. How much gold is that so far? 8. So we've got 22 gold left. A glove of missile dexterity. A net of entanglement sounds handy. Potion of healing sounds like a great idea. We'll fix a physical injury or increase our stamina by 4. Anti-poison sounds very useful. Stillness calms the drinker during stressful situations. Well, plant control for 2 gold? Yeah, that might be worth it. I mean, we're going into a forest. Sounds legit. How much gold do we have left? Let's see, we've spent 5, 7, 10, 16. We've spent 16 gold. 19. No, 19. A ring of light. And what do fire capsules do? Oh, we get 4 of them? Great for cooking and also useful against vampires. Sure. A rod of water finding. Well, we know that doesn't work. We know water divining is a complete scam. Yeah, that's probably going to be useful. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. Let's get 4 nose filters, because what could possibly go wrong? And that's it. We've spent all of our money. Continue our quest of the luckless big leg. Yes. Yes, Tromo says slowly, rubbing his... Yes. I heard that the good dwarves of Stonebridge had lost their fabled warhammer. Without it, their king is unable to arouse his people. How terrible. Despite the fact that the hill trolls threaten his village. Rumour has it that an envious king of another village of dwarves sent an eagle to Stonebridge to steal the hammer, which it managed to do. But as it flew over Darkwood, it was attacked by deathhawks, and the hammer dropped into the forest and was lost. Apparently, 2 forest goblins found the hammer, but could not decide who was to keep it. They wrestled for hours, but gave up. Then they discovered that the handle unscrewed from the head, and the argument was settled. One kept the head, the other kept the handle. Then they parted, each happy with his new treasure. Who knows if they still have them? I'm afraid your problems are doubled. I can tell you that the head is made of bronze, and the handle is made of polished ebony. Both head and handle have the letter G inscribed on them. Your task is not easy. I certainly know a lot of information. Good luck. Yastromo, the master mage of exposition. We thank Yastromo and leave the room by the spiral staircase. Turn to page 177. Outside in the bright light, we notice the dead quietness again. A narrow path leads northwards from the tall grass surrounding Yastromo's tower into the dense undergrowth of Darkwood Forest. In a few strides, we are surrounded by the dark and tangled forest. Stones and knotted roots seem to hide in the shadows, and we can almost believe that they are trying to trip us up. The light fades quickly and the air becomes moist and unpleasant. Deeper and deeper we go into the gloom. Eventually the path forks on either side of a huge old tree. Now, do we want to go west, or do we want to go east? I want to go to the kitchen and get more coffee, but I can't. Bum 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 ba-da-dum ba-da-dum. As chat is still quiet, let's go. We're heading south. No, we're heading north. Yes, Tromo's Tower is at the bottom of the map in the forest. So we're heading north. If we're heading north, we want to go left. So let's go west. Bye. The narrow, overgrown path continues to weave its way through the crowded forest. Strange animal cries echo through the trees. It's not long before we arrive at another junction in the path. Well, we do need to go north eventually. Do we want to try cutting straight through the forest though? Or do we want to try skirting around the outside? Obviously the path to the west will take longer, but it may be less dangerous. I'll give chat a bit of an opportunity to weigh in. Fly. I don't know how I got in here, but sure, whatevs. I'll kick it out later. Let's continue westward then. The path turns suddenly to the right and proceeds northwards into the dense undergrowth, so we are forced north eventually. Suddenly, off the path to our left, we hear cries for help. If we wish to go to the aid of the person in trouble, turn to page 253. If we would rather ignore the cries and continue our journey north, turn to 187. Well, I know what I would do as this character. I know what I would do as Dave as well. Bom, 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 bom. We have things to be about. We have a mission to be on and 2 goblins to find. Let's keep going. Walking along the twisting path, we see a small, sinewy creature with brown, scaly skin sitting on a log to the right of the path. He has a sullen expression on his face as he slowly tosses a black, shiny rod on a leather cord back and forth between his hands. He might be one of the goblins we are looking for. It's a black, shiny rod with a leather cord. That sounds a lot like an ebony handle. Will we draw our sword and attack the goblin? Try to start a conversation with the goblin, or ignore him and continue walking? It's a goblin. Let's kill it. Shall we kill it? Let's kill it. Oh shit. As we raise our sword to make the first blow, the creature starts to metamorphose between our eyes. He becomes taller and turns green. A large spiny tail extends from his back. His arms thicken and his hands grow sharp claws. His face distorts and becomes reptilian with red eyes and a wide mouth, housing dozens of razor-sharp teeth. He's not a goblin, but a shape changer, and we must fight. Now, this is how combat works in fighting fantasy. We must fight. We have 18 stamina and 12 skill. Shape Changer has 10 stamina and 10 skill. We need to get their stamina down to 0. We fight. We rolled higher than they did. We can test our luck to deal extra damage, or to keep, or to defend. Save our luck for now, because there's a definite limited supply. We have 5 luck, and 1 luck potion to get us back up to 6. Alright, because our skill is higher than them, we've got a better chance of actually killing them. So if we roll evens, we win. Boxcars! Hurrah! We won the day! We are triumphant! We are triumphant! I mixed up triumphant and excellent. That's what happened. If we win, turn to 373. We slump onto the log exhausted after our long battle. Sadly, the black rod was just part of the Shape Changer's illusion and it exists no more. However, we notice some violet mushrooms growing behind the log. They are unfamiliar to us but look tasty. If we wish to eat some of the mushrooms, turn to 308. If we'd rather continue north, turn to 148. I've got to say that was a pretty specific allusion from the shape changer. It was a pretty damn specific allusion. I don't think we want to eat weird mushrooms. But do we get some reward for defeating this monster other than getting to continue with our life? Do we want to eat the mushrooms or not eat the mushrooms? Oh yeah, it would be good if, let me just nudge the game capture window over a little. Not really, it's gonna force the... That's annoying. I'm just gonna fix this up so it's a bit more even. Alright. There we go. That's better. I am more pleased. Alright, so are we gonna eat the mushrooms or not eat the mushrooms? Let's not eat the mushrooms. Let's eat the mushrooms. Let's eat the mushrooms. Oh shit. Oh shit, this is bad. On eating some of the mushrooms, we feel a great turmoil inside our body. We think we might be turning into a shape changer. At last, we are relieved to feel the turmoil dying down. We have not become a shape changer, but we have eaten mix-up mushrooms. Our skill score now becomes our luck score, and our luck score becomes our skill score. Feeling a little odd, we set off north again. We are going to die. Our skill score is now 5. That is terrible. That is really terrible. Let's continue north. The path leads ever northwards, but at last the trees are beginning to thin out and appear less menacing as daylight streams through between them. On the right-hand side of the path, we see an old oak chair covered with moss. If we have provisions and wish to sit and rest in the chair... did we bring provisions? I guess we have provisions. Let's press on northwards. The path eventually emerges from the trees onto a vast plain. Beyond, we see rising ground heading to low hills. The waist-high grasses on either side of the path sway gently in the warm breeze. All is peaceful and the dangers ahead seem unimportant. We are enjoying our walk when suddenly the silence is broken by the sound of squealing and grunting to the right of the path. We can see a path being made through the grass by an unseen beast moving quickly towards us. We draw our sword in readiness. A few yards ahead of us, a large brown-like pig creature bursts out onto the path and halts there. It has two long tusks protruding from a short, stubby snout. Steam rises into the air from its sweating body. Its small eyes look at us before it puts its head down to charge at us. It is a wild boar and we must fight. We are going to die. Oh, our skill is now 5. Oh, okay. Our skill roll and our luck roll. Okay. So we rolled a 6 for skill and a 5 for luck. Those got switched around. That is fine. We are okay. Fight the boar. We just barely made that. We killed it. I think that's a 10. We are triumphant! As we draw our sword from the carcass of the wild boar, we wonder what made it attack us. In the distance we hear the sound of barking dogs. Perhaps it was being hunted and being trapped made its last stand against us. Through the nose of the boar we see a large gold ring which we can cut loose and place in our backpack. It is worth 10 gold pieces and we gain 1 luck for our good fortune. We now have 7 luck. This is wonderful. And a luck potion. Missing that skill, but that's okay. Walking north, we soon arrive at a junction in the path. We may continue north, go west, or go east. We haven't gone west for a while, so let's go west. Ahead, we see that the path ends at the door of a large hut made of dried mud. It has a domed roof and a single window. We peer through the window and see a large man with dark skin sitting at a table in the middle of the hut. This does not look like a large man with dark skin. He is bare-chested and flexing the muscle of his arms. If we wish to enter the hut, turn to 209. If we would rather return to the junction in the path, turn to 349. Let's enter the hut. As we enter the hut, the big man smiles. He looks pleased to see you and starts to speak in a deep voice.
Welcome, stranger. My name is Quinn, and I earn my living by my arms. Would you care for a little wager, perhaps at arm wrestling?
If we wish to accept the challenge, and I think we're going to accept this challenge, turn to 28. If we wish to decline his offer, we politely refuse and return to the junction in the path. Let's arm wrestle. If we possess an armband of strength, turn to 52. We sure as hell do. I might have played this game before. Quinn explains that he will wager some dust of levitation against an item or coins to the value of 10 gold pieces. We just happen to have a nose ring worth 10 gold pieces. As we sit down to the table opposite him, we deftly slip the armband of strength onto our arm. We put our elbow onto the table and lock hands with him. His grip is like an iron jaw and his dark eyes look confident. His biceps bulge and he gives the signal for the contest to begin. We start to push his arm down and are amazed at our own strength. Sweat breaks out on his forehead and you can see the disbelief and pain on his face. We push harder and force his arm onto the table in defeat. Quinn stands up and walks silently to a wooden chest at the back of the hut. He lifts the lid and pulls out a small glass vial. He hands it to us and walks back to the table, where he slumps in his chair, looking thoroughly dejected. The dust in the vial sparks in the light, and we put it into our backpack and leave the hut. Once outside, we walk back to the junction in the path. We arrive back at the crossroads. Ignoring the way south back to the forest, we may go north, or we may continue east. Let's go north. As we walk further northwards across the plain, the grass gradually becomes shorter and the ground starts to rise gently. Ahead we hear the roar of crushing water. Soon we reach the bank of a wide river split on 2 levels. To our right, the water is calm and slow moving, but in front of us it tumbles noisily down a waterfall to a gorge below, where the river narrows and runs quickly west over rocks and boulders. And I've just realised I haven't changed the... the things. God damn it. For crying out loud. Alright, update. Update title and game. 40 minutes into the stream. Terrible. I am a terrible streamer. Where was I up to? Steps lead down by the side of the waterfall to the bottom of the gorge, although it is difficult to see where they end because of the spray thrown up. Across the river, we see the path heading north into the distance. A small wooden boat is tied to a post to our right where the river is calm. Will we walk down the steps to the base of the waterfall or row the wooden boat across the river? Let's walk down to the base of the waterfall. We walk down the slippery stone steps to the bottom of the waterfall. We look up and see a magnificent rainbow reflected in the spray. It is dark in the gorge and impossible to see through the wall of water where the steps end. If we wish to walk through the sheet of water, turn to 181. If we wish to climb back up the stone steps, turn to 326. This could be really bad, but let's walk through the sheet of water. I wouldn't recommend this, but what could possibly... I mean, lots of things could go wrong. There might not be any steps. The steps could just vanish and we could fall to our death. We walk along the steps through the waterfall into a large cavern where there is a pool of still water. The steps run round the side of the pool and there is a stone table and chair on the far side. We go to the table and see fish scraps lying on it. Suddenly, we hear a noise of splashing behind us. A strange creature climbs out of the pool and advances towards us, armed with a trident. His arms are like a man's, but his face and torso his legs are like a man's, but his face and torso resemble a large green fish with bulbous eyes. His arms are like mine, but ours, but are covered in large scales. He is a fishman and we must fight him. Fight. We win that day. And we win that one. And we're gonna lose that. Oh, good. It was a draw, thank goodness. And we win that one. We are triumphant. There is nothing of use or value in the fishman's cave, so we walk around to the north side wall. Steps lead back through the waterfall and up the north wall of the gorge to the top. We're at the foot of some hills and can see the path climbing up into their midst in the north. It is getting dark and night is closing in, so we decide to camp behind some rocks to the right of the path. We build a large fire and settle down to sleep with our sword by our side. We have been asleep for about an hour when the noise of deep growling wakes us up. We stand up without making a noise and grab our sword. We wait and listen. There is a full moon in the sky and the light casts eerie shadows all around. We hear soft footsteps and sniffling, followed by another low growl. Then a shape which looks like a man steps out of the shadows to our right. As he gets closer, we see that his chest, arms and face are covered with thick brown hair and long teeth protrude from his mouth. He is a werewolf and we must fight. Alright, so we only have a +3 to his skill. That is going to cut it though. That is not going to cut it. Alright, so we can test our luck. Okay, we take less damage. So instead of taking 2 damage, we took 1 damage. If we test our luck, we deal 1 more damage. That's going to be a draw. That is going to suck. That is also going to suck. We win that one. We win that one. That's going to suck. And we're going to win that one. That was the first time we took any damage, and we took lots of it. We took 7 damage. We lost 4 fights. That was a tough battle. Shit. If the werewolf wounded us during combat, of course, because it's a werewolf. We settle down to sleep again, but start to shake and tremble. Sweat pours from our body, although we feel very cold. Do we possess any belladonna? No, we do not. We feel a burning sensation inside our body as we sink into a raging fever. You may be about to change into a werewolf. We lose another 3 stamina, which means we're down to 8 stamina. Are we still alive? Yes, we are. Test our luck. Oh wow, were we lucky. Equal to or less than our luck score, the fever dies down. Our luck score is pretty high. We got an achievement. The effect of the fever finally wore off and we gratefully fall asleep again. In the morning we collect our belongings and head north along the path into the hills. We only have 8 stamina left though, out of 18. We lost more than half our stamina in that one fight. The ground is quite steep as the path winds its way into the hills. By the time we reach the top, the sun is quite hot. All around in the distance, we see the dark green circle of Darkwood Forest. Mist still hangs in the tall grasses behind us, but ahead we see a valley floor bathed in sunlight. All is quiet. As we start down the far side of the hill, we see a junction in the path. We can continue north or head east. Let's continue north. The path runs through a narrow gorge between 2 hills. We feel vulnerable and draw our sword, expecting to be ambushed at any moment. Unfortunately, because we are concentrating on watching the sides of the gorge, we do not see a small patch of leaves and branches on the path ahead. Our foot goes right through the thin covering a trap, and we plunge 4 meters to the bottom of a rocky pit. To add to our misfortune, a wooden stake with a sharp tip points out of the center of the pit. We must test our luck again. Oh, that's a good roll. We are lucky. The Coolian, good morning. Or good evening to you. We manage to avoid landing on the wooden stake, but fall heavily to the floor, losing another 2 stamina points. We are down to 6 stamina. We are still alive. Oh, no, carry on. Do we possess Boots of Leaping? Yes, we do possess Boots of Leaping. Otherwise, we would be fucked. We got another achievement for leaping ourselves out of the pit. The pit is circular with smooth sides, and we are weak from our fall. We reach into our backpack and pull out the brown leather boots. They are very light on our feet. We crouch down, and in one mighty leap, we are out of the pit. We dust ourselves down and continue to walk north down the gorge. Continuing down the gorge, we see the handle of a sword sticking out from a large rock in the side of the path. If we wish to try to pull the sword free from the rock, turn to 182. If we wish to continue walking down the gorge, turn to 334. Well, okay. I mean, it feels like a trap, right? So, I guess we should do it anyway? Because, why not? I mean, we've only got 6 stamina. I really wish I'd had that healing potion now. Where's my inventory? And you can save a bookmark. So I could have saved a bookmark before we fought the werewolf. And then we could have kept fighting the werewolf over and over again. But, Oh, adventure sheet. Is that what I'm looking for? Alright, see, here we are. Oh, we've got 5 provisions. A potion of fortune. Oh, we do have a potion of healing, but that's not what it does. It doesn't heal our stamina. And yeah, we're down to 9 out of 12 luck. We have a map. So we can refill our luck. Every time you do a luck roll, you lose a luck point. We have a sword, a boar's gold nose ring, dust of levitation. Why didn't dust of levitation work? Who knows? Oh, we still have our armband of strength and our boots of leaping, but they shouldn't work anymore. Let's try pulling the sword free from the rock. We take hold of the sword and place our foot against the rock. If the number rolled is equal to or less than our current skill score, which is 6, we pull the sword from the rock. We are lucky! The sword slowly slides out of the rock because we rolled low. The sword is magnificent and was obviously made by a master craftsman. It feels powerful in our hand. We gain 2 points on top of our current skill score when using our enchanted sword. Cutting your new weapon through the air, you set off north down the gorge. So that gives us... Oh yeah, our skill score, yeah, okay. Our skill score, we weren't actually gonna mess that up. It's our stamina that we're at 6. Our skill score, we were going to make that. Between the hills, we see the flat green valley floor stretching out ahead, and beyond, a dark sinister wall of trees. Darkwood Forest. Have we not actually got to the forest yet? So this is where we started. And these are the places that we had combat. And this is where we are now, I suppose. And that was the dude with the armband. And that was the werewolf there. Stupid werewolf. Let's keep heading west. On the other side of the trees lies Stonebridge, our journey's end. Arriving at the valley floor, the path ends at a junction. Let's head west. The path makes a sudden turn to the right and heads north across the valley floor. To the left of the path, we see a large pond with a small wooden hut with a thatched roof by its edge. If we want to investigate the hut, or we can ignore the hut and continue north. Let's investigate the hut. What could go wrong? We walk around to the front of the hut and see a large blue vase on a small porch. There is nobody about. We open the door of the hut, but there is nobody inside. The hut is also devoid of any furniture or objects. We walk outside again and inspect the blue vase. We look inside, but despite the sunlight, are unable to see beyond the rim. The vase is filled with an eerie blackness. We shake it and hear a rattling sound. We can drop the vase on the ground, put a hand inside the vase, or ignore the vase and return to the path. I really don't like the sound of this vase. There may be a very good reason why we can't see inside it. I don't want to stick my hand in there though. I feel like dropping it would be a terrible... I don't like either of these options. I feel that both of these options are a trap. I mean, if there's something nasty in there, then dropping the vase on the ground is probably going to end badly either way. If we stick our hand inside the vase, we may come back with no hand. I haven't seen this one before. I don't normally get this far into the forest without dying. I'm doing really well. I was really surprised with our luck, with our skill rolls at the start of the game. And that vampire just, yeah, that vampire killed us a lot. Let's drop the vase on the ground. There's probably a rupee inside. Oh dear. The vase drops on the ground but does not break, although cracks appear all over it. We begin to feel a vibration and then we notice cracks appearing all over the porch and the side of the hut. The vibrations become stronger, our whole body starts to tremble and our head feels as if it's about to explode. We lose 2 more stamina points. We're down to 4 stamina. If we are still alive, turn to 82. Do we possess a potion of stillness? No, we do not. The vibrations feel like shockwaves which seem to hammer our body. Our legs feel like lead. Oh, damn. And we are unable to move them. Suddenly the hut collapses and crashes to the ground. The sky darkens and a wind starts to howl all about us. The wind blows harder and becomes as strong as a gale, its force knocking us to the ground. We cling to the porch and shield our face from the dirt and debris being thrown up by the gale. Above the deafening noise of the wind, we hear laughter, followed by a deep voice rejoicing.
I'm free! I'm free!
We have released an earth elemental onto the world and we lose 3 luck points. Oh, we are so bad. Gradually the howling wind dies down and the skies brighten. We pick ourselves up from out of the rubble and walk slowly back to the path to head north again. We should have completely ignored that hut. As we walk along the valley, we see the dark green wall of Darkwood Forest looming up before us. The path leads directly into thick undergrowth, and soon we are walking between tall, dark trees and thorny bushes. It's dark and quiet. The path forks. We could turn east or continue heading north. Let's go north. Amidst the trees to the left of the path, we see a small stone building covered with ivy and moss. Let's examine the building. The building measures only 3 meters by 3 meters and has no windows. The door is made of stone and looks very solid. There is no handle and there does not appear to be another way to enter the building. Then you notice a tiny keyhole in the stone door. Do we possess a silver key? No. No, we don't. We may try to charge the door down. Let's not. Let's return to the path and head north. The path presses on northwards through the dense trees. Then it makes a sudden turn to the right and heads east. The path is so overgrown in places that we have to use our sword to cut through it. Our walk east is long and tiring. At last we reach a junction in the path. Looking at Big Leg's map, we decide to head north again in the direction of Stonebridge and ignore the narrow path continuing east. The path opens out into a small clearing. To our right we see a pile of branches, grass and pieces of rag, the lair of some large creature. Among the debris and old bones scattered about, we catch the sight of something glittering. Well, we could look more closely, or we could get our ass to Stonebridge and rest. Let's look more closely. You walk over to investigate the lair, but are suddenly aware of a dark shadow being cast all about you. We hear a loud roar above us, and we look up to see a dragon-like creature with 2 legs and green scaly skin flying down to its lair. A bolt of fire shoots from its mouth towards us. Test our luck. Roll high. That is not high. Oh, we are lucky. Good. If we are lucky, the firebolt misses us and explodes by our feet. The creature... Oh no, we did not possess a flute. The creature landing in front of us is a wyvern. It looks at us and opens its huge mouth to let out another burning roar. It is about 10 meters long, and its thick scales look hard to penetrate with our sword. Do we possess a flute? Nope. The wyvern's long tail swishes from side to side and smoke coils up from its nostrils. We draw our sword and prepare to combat this fearsome monster. We are so dead. Time to fight. We have 4 stamina and only a bonus of 2. That's a very good start. I think we should test our luck at every opportunity. We do no... Oh, we did 1 less damage. Oh, shit. That's a draw. That's... I can't tell. It's a win for us. Let's test our luck again. God damn it. That's... We could be nearly dead by now. Yeah, we could have killed it already. That's a draw. That's a win for us. And that's a win for us. Yeah, we could have just murdered it without wasting 4 luck points. 3 luck points. We won without taking any damage. We walk around the motionless wyvern and start to rummage through its lair and surrounding debris. We find a gauntlet made of plate iron, a throwing knife, 10 gold pieces, and a gold ring. We put the knife and the gold pieces in our backpack. Would we like to try on the gauntlet or the gold ring? Or would we like to try on nothing and keep going? Let's try on the gold ring. Slipping the ring onto our middle finger, we are suddenly gripped by agonizing pain. Eventually the pain subsides, we are unable to take off the ring. We're wearing a cursed ring of slowness, which will subtract 2 points from all future dice rolls. We are fucked. Do we want to try the gauntlet as well? Sure. Slicing, we slip on the gauntlet to our hand and take hold of our sword. Slicing the air with it, we feel more than usually skilled with our weapon. We possess a gauntlet of weapon skill, which adds 1 point to all future dice rolls. So we're at -1 dice rolls for combat. That's awesome. Walking along the narrow path, we suddenly hear a sharp crack of a twig breaking and the whispering of low voices. We draw our sword and wait anxiously with our back to a large oak tree. Then from behind the trees opposite us step 4 men and a woman dressed in green tunics. Each looks menacing and they stand with swords and axes in their hands. The young woman steps forward and tells you we are trespassing on their territory and we must pay a levy of 5 objects from our backpack or face the consequences. If we wish to give them what they want, or we could spit on the ground in reply and fight them. 5 objects? There's 5 of them and there's 1 of us and we have 4 stamina. That's why all my luck skills were wrong. Alright, let's take our potion of fortune. That's why it went so poorly against the dragon. What can we give them? We've got the armband of strength, we've got the boots of leaping. Oh, it doesn't mention anything here about the ring. Maybe we got the gauntlet instead of the ring. Maybe we lucked out of that. I don't know. I mean, we could try fighting them, but I don't think that's going to work very well. But I really don't know what to give them. Good workout, Julian. Do 4 nose filters count as 1 item each? I mean, probably not. We've got a gold nose ring. Ah, there it is. Ailment's Ring of Slowness. Let's give them what they want. Oh! We can give them a gold piece. Now, aren't the armband of strength and the boots of leaping, haven't they been exhausted already? Oh, now that's interesting. The armband of strength is listed here, but the boots of leaping is not. I can give them a gold piece though. And 2 nose filters? Now that's 1. I could just give them 5 gold pieces. 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. I've escaped Darkwood Forest. The bandit woman takes the items from us and steps back to let us pass. We head north again and soon notice the trees beginning to thin out on either side of the path. Eventually the path leads out of the trees into a ploughed field. We are out of Darkwood Forest. The path leads through a field into a stone bridge, to a stone bridge over a clear stream. Beyond the bridge are the small cottages and wooden huts of a village. The sign on the bridge reads Stone Bridge. We cross the bridge and see two old dwarves with long white beards standing by a cottage looking at us. Do we have the hammer and the handle with the letter G inscribed in them? No, we do not. We have failed on our quest to help the dwarves. Being unable to face Gillibrand their king, we decide to head east and find a place to rest after our perilous adventure. But wait, perhaps we want to continue searching. Let's continue searching. We decide the best way to continue is to walk back around Darkwood Forest and pay a visit to Yaztromo. That sounds like a terrible idea. Did we rest up first? We didn't even rest up first. Why wouldn't we do that? Let's test our luck. As we begin the long walk, we are attacked by a large group of wild hillmen, probably the same group who attacked Big Leg and his party 2 days earlier. We should be okay testing our luck. We are lucky. I mean, we had 13 luck, so that was always going to happen. We run away from them without being hit by the rain of arrows which fall about us. We run for what seems like hours, stumbling through the changing landscape. Something doesn't seem right somehow, and you feel a thumping pain in your head. We stop, falling to the ground, and stare up at the blue sky and the clouds floating above. Our vision blurs, and we suddenly see a familiar face staring down at us before we lose consciousness. We open our eyes. It is evening and we find ourselves lying beneath a sheepskin blanket next to an open fire. A half-eaten rabbit that looks as though it was spit roasted lies on the ground nearby. This feels very familiar. There's a full moon and light sparkles on the blade of our broadsword, skewered into the ground by our side. We gaze at it, thinking about all of the vile creatures we've killed in the last few days. We try to remember each one of them, but somehow we can't picture them in our mind. We're pretty sure that we killed some, yet it feels like the memory of those encounters is fading. We know these are strange lands, inhabited by weird and loathsome beasts, goblins, trolls, and even dragons. Have we killed any recently? Maybe we're just tired and need a good sleep. As the flame of our campfire gently dies, we begin to finally drift asleep, and images of fighting strange monsters flicker through our mind. Suddenly, in the bushes to our left, we hear the loud crack of a twig breaking under a clumsy foot. We leap up and grab our sword from the ground. We stand motionless but alert, ready to pounce on our unseen adversary. Then we hear a groan, followed by the dull thud of a body falling to the ground. Is it a trap? Slowly, we walk over to the bush where the noise is coming from and carefully pull back the branches. We look down to see a little old man with a great bushy beard, his face contorted with pain. He seems vaguely familiar, and we crouch down to remove the iron helmet covering his balding head and notice two crossbow bolts protruding from the stomach of his plump, chainmail-clad torso. Picking him up, we carry him over to the fire and stir the dying embers into life. After covering him with a sheepskin blanket, we manage to get the old man to drink a little water. He coughs and moans. He sits up rigid, eyes staring fixedly ahead, and starts to shout, "I'll get them! I'll get them! Don't you fear, Gillibrand! Big Leg is coming to bring you the hammer! Oh yes, I am indeed! Oh yes!" The dwarf, whose name you presume to be Big Leg, is obviously delirious from the poison-tipped bolts lodged in his stomach. You watch as he slumps down again to the ground, then whisper his name in his ear. We've been through all of this before. Yes, okay, Yaztromo. Their names seem familiar to you, like a distant dream. What's all this fuss about the dwarvish hammer? A number of gold pieces and a half-drawn map. We think it's been a few weeks since our last battle. So it just starts it again from the beginning. Who are you? Well, let's follow him up the stairs. Do I have my things though? Alright, so we're at full health. We don't have any of our things. But we kept our luck bonus though. And we have 36 gold instead of 30. I have never made it through alive to see what happens. Oh, this is excellent. Alright, let's bookmark this. Our position has been saved. I would have liked to roll more stamina at the start of this game, but that was a really bad stamina roll. 6 out of 12? Yeah, it was pretty bad. I am out of water and coffee. Mr. B, we just looped back to the start. We didn't find either of the hammer items. So we, do we have the map though? Do we have the map? Oh, we still have the map. Alright, so we went around the outside. So as we go, we slowly fill in the map. So combat, a thing, combat, a thing, a thing, combat, combat. That was a werewolf. Alright, let's follow him up the stairs. Oh yeah, I know. I saw you. We have 36 things to buy this time. So do we still have a potion of healing? No, we don't. Okay, we lost all of our items. So we're going to grab that. Oh, it increases stamina by 4. So we could have used that. Alright. What else did we buy? Plant control, we didn't need it. Potion of stillness, we didn't buy that. We could have used it, so maybe we won't need it this time. Anti-poison, let's buy that again. Ring of light, yes. Rope of climbing, yes. Glove of missile dexterity, yes. 4 nose filters, sounds like a bargain. A lot of the things we needed and we didn't have, you pick up in the thing. Oh, if we go back that other way, we can swap our skill and our stamina. Oh yeah, if we go back that way along the left and fight if the encounter is the same, we can swap our luck and our stamina back around. Oh, we don't start with a luck potion anymore. Oh shit. Oh, that's a damn shame. Yeah, we don't have our luck potion. We start the very game with the luck potion, but we don't get another one back when we restart. Oh, that's unfortunate. So then we'd have 13 skill, which is a lot of skill. But we'd only have 11 luck. Alright, net of entanglement. Do we need to buy an armband and strength this time? I'm not sure. How much gold do we have left? 15. Holy water. Okay, that's 12. That's 10. 3, 6. 8. Let's buy that. If I'd given those dudes just random stuff out of my thing, then I would have 5 more gold to spend. I'll know that for next time if we make it through. We can go back exactly the same way and skip a couple of things. It looks like we can go back, follow the same path, remembering what we remember, and then farm up a bunch of gold. But I don't know. And get, you know, +1 luck for defeating the boar and stuff like that. It's going to depend on dice rolls and things. Absolutely not Monkey King's headband. Because I never made it through the forest alive. Not ever playing this game. And I played it a few times, not a bunch of times. So, do we want to go back the same path we had? Get a few less learning from what we encountered, or do we want to strike out in a different direction? Different direction. Okay. So let's get the headband of concentration. We used the boots of leaping and the armband of strength already, so we probably don't need them if we're going a different direction. I guess we'll find out. It might be good to have the boots of leaping anyway. It might just come in handy. How much gold do I have left? 3. Let's get let's get fire capsules. Oh, there's 5 of them? Ah, we got an achievement for buying all of his things. Across different playthroughs, I guess. The instructions are for use, and yep. They wrestled for hours. We went through all of this. We leave by the spiral staircase. Alright. We are outside Yaztromo's tower once again. We can go east this time instead of west. Let's go east. Somewhere completely different. I'd really like to swap my my luck and my skill around again though, hey. That would be having 13 skill would be excellent. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll head somewhere different. So we just need to get to here and then we'll go through that way. Alright, west. It's not long before we arrive at another junction. Let's head west. And then we're forced north. And then we ignored the person who was in trouble. And we continue north. And then here we are. It's a goblin. We draw our sword and attack the goblin. It's a shape changer and we have to fight him. Alright. Hopefully we do... yeah, okay. Alright. Kill it! Yeah, we won that one. Oh, we won that one, just barely. We didn't win that one. That's okay. Ah, we're about to lose 2 luck, so we might as well test it. We win that one. And we're going to test our luck again, which we can't lose. because we're at 12. And... oh no! Oh, it says how much luck we have here. That's good. Alright, we win! Alright. Let's eat the mushrooms. Our luck and skill are reversed. Oh shit, it includes our current... oh, nasty. So we've got 10 out of 13. Oh, okay. Alright. Fine. Thanks, game. 10 out of 13 skill. We shouldn't have used our luck. But we've got... Alright, we set off north. Now let's head east. Into the unknown. We come across a path heading south, which we decide to ignore and continue heading east. The path continues east and then turns sharply north, narrowing slightly. The trees seem to crowd in on the path even more than usual, and a tingling feeling down our spine tells us something is not right. Suddenly, a branch from one of the trees to our right whips out and knocks us to the ground. We lose 1 stamina point. We're at 14 stamina now. Do we still live? We do! We stagger to our feet to see that the tree has moved onto the path, blocking our way. We can just make out its hidden eyes and mouth in the middle of its trunk and realize we've been attacked by a tree man. We may escape by running back to the junction, or fight the tree man. Let's fight the tree man. Do we possess fire capsules? Yes, we do. The tree man lumbers slowly towards you on large splayed roots. We reach into our backpack and pull out a small cloth pouch containing the capsules. There are 5 of them, all red and shiny. We take one out and throw it towards the advancing tree man. It lands in front of him and explodes in a puff of white smoke. A jet of flame shoots up and out of the ground and forces the tree man to back away. We seize our opportunity to throw the remaining capsules at the tree man. Flames burst out all around him and we run past him while he is trapped. Soon we are well away from the tree man and stop running. Heading north, we notice that the trees are at last starting to thin out. They're all 5 of our fire capsules, that's a shame. Daylight appears through the trees on either side of the path as the forest thins out more. Soon the path leads out of the trees onto a large plain with tall grasses. Beyond we see rising ground leading to low hills. A new branch off the path continues east. Oh, so the tree man encounter isn't even marked on the map. So this was the boar, that was the fishman, and that was the boar raises our luck by 1. Like, oh, I want to do these things again because stat building, but let's try something different. Let's head east. We arrive at a 4-way junction in the path. South leads back to the forest, so we discount that option. We could head north or continue east. Let's head north, shall we? The path cuts through the grass, which is about waist height. Although the visibility is good, we feel uneasy about any creatures which may be stalking us on either side. Oh shit, it is true, Mr. B. I'm dropping frames. Alright, I'm going to stop the stream because the Twitch server connection has dropped out or screwed up again. I will kill the stream, but I'll keep the local recording going. I need to wait for the stream to finish stopping before I can restart it. This might take 3 minutes. Alright, the stream has finished stopping, so I will restart the stream. And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of the stream. I've had to restart because the connection to the Twitch server crapped out. And it started dropping a bunch of frames. It should be all fixed now. I will try and keep an eye on it. Alright, we continue where we left off in the Forest of Doom. The path cuts through the grass, which is about waist high. Although our visibility is good. The tree man. What happened with the tree man? We threw the fire things at it and ran away. That's basically what happened. And we that was here, and then we went east and we came to a four-way junction. We couldn't go south because that's the wrong direction, so we went north. Suddenly the grass to our left moves and 2 wooden tubes appear, pointing straight at us. They are blowpipes belonging to 2 pygmies who blow 2 darts at us. For the first dart we must test our luck. Now our luck is pretty good. It's 11. If we roll boxcars we fail. I shouldn't have said that. Sadly, our luck has run out. If we are unlucky, the first dart lodges into our neck. If we possess a potion of anti-poison, we sure do, the muscles in our neck start to stiffen and we feel the effects of poison from the darts running through our body. I mean, seriously, we had to roll a 12 to fail that. We reach quickly into our backpack and pull out the small bottle labelled Potion of Anti-Poison. We gulp down its contents. Our body relaxes and the effects of the poison fall away. On seeing this, the pygmies turn and run off into the grass. Will we draw our sword and run into the grass after the pygmies, or turn north along the path? There's a 1 in 36 chance of failing that roll, and yeah, we did it. Running after the pygmies sounds like a trap. It's tall grass and short enemies, and yeah, we could just let that go. Annoyingly, every time you test your luck, or it's how the game works. Our luck is now 10 instead of 11. So a 5 or a 6, a 5 or 6 we now have a 3 in 36 chance, or 1 in 12, of failing our next luck roll after failing the 1 in 36. If we'd made it, it wouldn't have mattered. Every time you do a luck test, your current luck goes down 1. Alright, shall we continue north along the path? Or shall we run after the pygmies, trying to exact vengeance? Love to exact some coffee. Oh, now I don't know how long the stream's been going. Oh, yes, I do. The recording timer is still going. Hour and a half. Let's continue north along the path. As the path proceeds northward, the grass becomes shorter and the ground starts to rise gently. Ahead, we can hear the sound of flowing water. However, much more ominous, we can also hear another sound in the sky. A loud buzzing noise. We do have a potion of insect control. Yes! Suddenly, a large swarm of bees, each bee some 10 centimeters long, is hovering directly above us. We may try to run into the water ahead and dive in, stand and fight, or drink a potion of insect control. Let's drink a potion of insect control. I'm so glad I bought that. As we reach into our backpack, we realize with horror that the large buzzing insects above us are killer bees. We grab the bottle marked Potion of Insect Control and gulp down its contents. The killer bees dive down to attack us, but are suddenly repelled as though they have hit an invisible screen. They hover all around us, buzzing loudly, but do not sting. With new heart, we draw our sword and swing it through the air. We catch one of the killer bees and it falls to the ground. We step on it with our leather sandal. We continue northward towards the sound of flowing water. We soon reach the bank of a gently flowing river. We see that the path continues north over the river via a rickety old bridge. If we wish to cross the river by the bridge, turn to 65, or if we do not want to trust the bridge and would rather swim across the river holding our backpack out of the water to keep the contents dry, we can turn to 75. Oh, this was the river that we were at when we went under the waterfall. I mean, I'm sure the bridge is mostly okay. Mr. Badmek agrees. Let's cross the river by the bridge. The bridge is in terrible state of repair, but we managed to cross safely. We're at the foot of some hills, and it is getting darker as night closes in. We pitch camp behind some rocks to the left of the path, and settle down to sleep with our sword by our side. Crying out loud. We have been asleep for about an hour when a terrifying howl wakes us up with a start. We put new wood on the glowing embers of the fire and urge it back to life. We notice there is a full moon in the sky, again. With our back to the rocks and the fire in front of us, we stand and wait with sword drawn. Soon we are aware of being watched. Then we see 3 pairs of eyes ahead of us, glowing red by the light of the fire. Another howl pierces the night air, followed by deep growls. Slowly, the 3 pairs of eyes advance towards us. From out of the shadows step 3 wolves, ready to leap on us. They attack one at a time. Seriously? We only have 10 skill out of 13 because I used my luck rolls and that whole thing didn't work. We must fight. First wolf. Fight on. 11. I sort of want to test our luck to kill it better. Faster. Let's fight on. That's a win. If we... Okay. Now we face the second wolf. Oh, it has a skill of 8. I guess the third wolf is going to have a skill of 9. That's a win for us. That's a draw. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. Third wolf, skill of 9. Ah, skill of 7, but stamina 9. Okay. That's fine. That's a win for us. We've got a +3. That's a draw. That's ours. That's ours. And that's a hit for us. Do we want to... No, let's fight on. That's a win for us. We are triumphant. We took damage 1 time. Eventually, we manage to get back to sleep, but are awake early. In the morning light, we notice a gold-studded leather collar around the neck of the largest wolf. It must be worth 15 gold pieces. Putting the collar in our backpack, we wonder who the wolf's owner might be. We collect our belongings and head north along the path. The ground is quite steep now as the path winds its way up to the hills. By the time we reach the top of the hill, the sun is quite hot. All around in the distance, we see the tight green circle of darkwood forest. Mist still hangs in the tall grasses behind us, but ahead we see a valley floor bathed in sunlight. All is quiet. As we start down the far side of the hill, we notice a small wooden hut to the right of the path, with its door slightly open. If we wish to enter the hut, or we can press on northwards. Let's check our map. Well, the last time we entered a hut, it went terribly wrong. So this one should be fine, right? Let's enter the hut. The hut consists of one room containing a fireplace, a wooden bed, a table with 2 chairs, a washing bowl, a wooden chest with shelves, and shelves crammed end to end with birds' eggs. There is a lot of dust on the floor, and the room does not appear to have been lived in for months. Will we rummage through the fireplace, open the wooden chest, or leave the room and carry on northwards? Why would we rummage through the fireplace, I wonder? I mean, why would we rummage through the fireplace? Let's find out. I mean, the chest is obviously somebody's things, but let's have a look in the fireplace. I'm very curious to know why that is an option. There is a fire-blackened copper kettle in the ashes of the fire, which we pick up to inspect. We remove the lid and find a gold ring with a large emerald set in it. It has a value of 5 gold pieces. We are very fortunate and gain 2 luck points. Happy with our new treasure, we decide to ignore the wooden chest and leave the room to continue northwards. Alright, so our luck went back up to 11. Walking down the hill path, we see the valley floor stretching out ahead and beyond the sinister wall of trees. Dark wood. On the other side of the trees lies Stonebridge, our journey's end. That was a great result. As we reach the foot of the hills, we see many large boulders lying around on either side of the path. We are amazed to see one of the larger ones gently rocking from side to side like a leaf in the breeze. If we wish to investigate the boulder, we can turn to 84, or we could head north into the valley. Really, I'd like to head east and stuff. Let's investigate the boulder. As we approach the boulder, we are even more surprised to see it suddenly rise up on what appears to be 2 stumpy stone legs, then 2 stone arms with huge club-shaped fists spring out of its sides. We stare in disbelief as the boulder lumbers towards us and raises one of its great stone fists. We snap out of our bewilderment and draw our sword to fight the boulder beast. We must fight. We can escape after 3 attack rounds by running north down the path into the valley. It has a skill of 8, so we're at a +2. And we're going to win that. And we're going to lose that one. Let's test our luck to only take 1 damage. Actually, let's not. Let's fight on. That's a draw. That's a draw. That's a win for us. Now we can try running away, but let's keep going. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. We can try testing our luck to finish it off, and I think that's probably going to be a good deal. We do 1 extra damage. Oh, we did 2 extra damage. Oh, it's double or half. Alright, good to know. We win the fight against the boulder beast. We look down at the broken rock pile around our feet and wonder how such a beast ever came into being. Perhaps from the misused power of an evil elementalist. We will never know. We take a piece of the stone that was part of the boulder beast for later examination. But we return to the path and head north down into the valley. Arriving on the valley floor, we find the path splits. We could go north, east, or west. So we could fill in this area here, or sort of do a quick run back to the end, or we could skirt around this way. We're in reasonable shape, so let's head east. Leading along the quiet valley floor, the path comes to an end at a junction. The way south leads back into the hills, so we decide against it and head north. The valley floor is green and pleasant, and we wonder why such a tranquil place would be the home to so many loathsome creatures. Walking along the path, we see in the distance the portly shape of a balding man dressed in long brown robes, heading in our direction. As he gets closer, we see that he is a friar. Should we start a conversation with him, or walk past him with a nod of the head? Here's where we are. Oh, we can get more here. We've got 5 provisions. I was really hoping to be able to use one of those provisions to heal up somewhere. But the only place I've come across that lets you do that is here. It's like just at the start. Why? Why would we do that? Actually, it only let me do that the first time. I didn't notice the option the second time. Maybe I just skipped over it because I was trying to get to the mushrooms. Let's start a conversation with him then. The friar is very nervous and jittery and shuffles from side to side as we start to speak. You ask why he is so distraught and he tells you his sacred brass bell has been stolen. As payment for its return, he is willing to offer a magic healing potion. Oh shit, that would be nice. Do we have a brass bell? We do not. We tell him we are sorry. We have not seen his brass bell. He frowns and then asks if we would like to give him 1 gold piece for a good cause. Do we not have any gold pieces? We don't have any gold pieces. We will have to decline. The friar shakes his head, saying there doesn't seem to be any charity in the world anymore. With a shrug of the shoulders, he sets off south again. We watch him disappear before continuing our journey north. I would have loved to have given him a gold piece. I had loot that I could give him. In the distance, we see the dark brown trees looming up before us. The path leads directly into Darkwood Forest and soon starts to twist and turn between tangled roots and bushes. The path eventually splits north or west. Let's go north. Ahead, we hear the thumping of heavy footsteps and the noise of branches breaking. It sounds as though some huge creature is coming down the path towards us. We could face the oncoming beast or hide in the bushes. Well, I know what we're doing. Let's face the oncoming beast. The thumping and crashing gets louder and suddenly we see a huge leg appear in front of us. Looking up, we see the leg belongs to a man some 5 meters tall. He is wearing green canvas clothing and fur boots. He appears to be in a hurry and is crashing through the undergrowth as though it isn't there. He is a forest giant. On seeing us, his eyes widen and he raises his great wooden club. We must fight. Ten versus 9. This is going to be tough. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. That's a win for him. That's a win for us. That's a win for... Oh, him? Really? That's us. Let's test our luck and see if we can finish him off. Oh, we did it! We just barely did it! It was boxcars until the 6 dropped down into a 4 and then we did it. Alright, let's use our healing potion. We win! Stuffed inside the forest giant's clothing, we find a brass lantern with a green wick. There is no liquid inside it to burn. Perhaps it's a magic lantern. We may rub the lantern and make a wish. We can try to light the wick, or we can throw the lamp away and head north. I know what I want to do, but let's wait to see what chat has to say about things. Really need some more water. I'm doing a lot of talking on this stream. I don't think it's the Green Lantern. It's a brass lantern. Yep, alright, let's rub it. Ooh, as we rub the lantern, green smoke slowly starts to rise from the wick and take shape. It forms the outline of a fat old man with a bald head sitting on a cushion. His mouth opens slowly, and in a deep voice he says,
"Well, what do you want?"
We tell him of our quest, but he tells you he is unable to offer you material gain or wealth. He can only offer you personal well-being. We may restore our skill, stamina, or luck score to its initial level. Well, that's a damn shame. I just drank that healing potion. I just drank that healing potion. Ah, that is a damn shame. Yeah, that is a damn shame, that is. I mean, we're pretty close to the end. I'm tempted to restore my skill. Because having an extra 3 skill points will really help win fights. Alright, let's restore our skill. Alright. As soon as we make our choice, the genie disappears and the lantern turns black. We throw it to the ground and head north. Oh shit. So we're here. The path twists and turns and suddenly makes a sharp turn to the left, to the west. Following the new course, we are aware of squawking in the trees all around us. We hear the flapping of wings and look up to see three large birds swooping down on us. Their beaks and talons look razor sharp. We only have a second in which to draw our sword and defend ourselves against the Death Hawks. We must fight one at a time. Now our skill is 13 and their skill is 4, which is a difference of 9. So we'd be very very unlucky to lose anything here. We've won that. And we've won that. Second Death Hawk also has a skill of 4. Third Death Hawk has a skill of 5. We've got +8 to our rolls. And we are triumphant. We would have needed to roll Snake Eyes and they would have needed to roll Boxcars or an 11 for us to lose any of those fights. And that's why having a high skill is really important. We've won! One of the Death Hawks has a silver band around one of its legs. It has an inscription on it which reads, "Death awaits you." We decide to leave the silver and quickly head west. We soon arrive at another junction in the path. Looking at Big Leg's map, we decide to head north again in the direction of Stonebridge, ignoring the narrow path which continues west. So we're back here. The path opens out into a small clearing. To our right, we see a pile of branches, grass, and pieces of rag, the lair of some large creature. Amongst the debris and old bones scattered about, we catch sight of something glittering. Now, we know what this is, and we know what the rewards are. Do we want to fight the Wyvern again? This time we have a skill of 13 and a luck of 9. We don't have an enchanted sword though. But we also don't have the Ring of Slowness. Or was that from here? Ah, yeah, we don't have the enchanted sword. And we only have 8 stamina. Or we had less than 10 stamina the last time we came through here. Alright, let's fight the Wyvern. It's a Wyvern! Test our luck. We've got 9 luck. We are lucky. Do we possess a flute? No, we do not. It's time to fight the Wyvern. Okay, we have a +3. That's going to do it for us. That's also going to do it for us. And that... that's a loss. That's fine. Keep going. That's a win for us. That's a loss. 6A. That's a win. G'day Tech! How are things? We are playing Forest of Doom, a choose-your-own-adventure computer game, in the old Finding Fantasy books. We could test our luck here to try and finish off the Wyvern, but that +3 will tip us over the point where we defeat it without needing to be lucky. Let's try on the Gauntlet and leave the ring alone. I'd rather ignore the gold ring, thanks very much. We head north. My net is normally this good. The trouble is sometimes that my connection to the... I'm pretty sure it's my connection to the Twitch server itself craps out. So when I start dropping 20 frames a second, and that's when it all goes sideways. But the rest of my internet during those times is fine, no problems. And the local recording, fine, no problems. I swear it's my connection to the Twitch server. Since the beta thing went in, that's when it started having that problem. Walking along the narrow path, we suddenly hear the sharp crack of a twig breaking and the whispering of low voices. We draw our sword and anxiously await. It's the forest bandits. We can give them 5 things from our backpack, and oh wow, we've got a bunch of stuff to give from our backpack. We've got so many things that we don't need. Or we could try fighting them. There's 5 of them though, and we have 6 stamina. We don't need these things anyway. Let's give them what they want. So let's give them here's a rope of climbing. And a nose filter. Oh, that's 4 nose filters. And some garlic buds. And a potion of plant control. And some gloves of missile dexterity. The bandit woman takes the items from us and steps back to let us pass. We are out of the forest. We head to Stonebridge. We don't have the hammerhead and the handle. And so we have failed in our quest. We can continue searching. We test our luck against the wild hillmen. We are successful. We run away without being hit by the rain of arrows. Our vision blurs and we suddenly see a familiar face staring down at us. And it starts over again. Let's go back to Yaztromo and see what's happening. Tech, you haven't been here. This is the 3rd time that we'll be starting the game, the adventure through the forest. Do you need to, Tech, do you need to hear where we're up to? Because we've been through this, this 5-page spiel twice already. I could really use some water as well. It's basically a dwarf. They've lost their hammer. The hammer was stolen from the dwarves, and we need to go into the forest and find this dude's hammer. We have 40 gold this time. Still just the 5 provisions. We ring the doorbell of Yaztromo's tower. He wants to know who we are. We tell him that we're an adventurer looking for Maztromo. He says, oh, well, that's me. Come and buy my things. So let's follow him up the stairs and go shopping. We are not attacking Yaztromo. No way. We can also bookmark here. What would we like to buy this time? We have 40 gold to spend this time. Now, what haven't we used yet? We haven't used... Which way are we going this time? Let's check our map. We went that way, and we went this way. So we haven't been this way yet, or through here. We haven't been up this path, through this bit. Checking our adventure sheet, we're at 13 skill and 11 luck, which is fantastic. So we can buy... Which way are we going this way? If we're going this way this time, through here, then we can go that way, and then it will be all new stuff. So, things we don't have yet. We haven't used holy water yet. We haven't used plant control yet. We haven't used the headband of concentration yet. We haven't used garlic. We haven't used the ring of light. The rope of climbing. The net of entanglement. Or the glove of missile dexterity. Or the rod of water finding. Alright, how much gold do we have left? 14. 3, 6, 9, 11. 15. 15 to buy everything. Oh no, there's another 3 there. Okay. I feel like the potion of anti-poison might come in handy in a couple of different places. We haven't used the nose filters yet. And I think that might do it for shopping. So 9 gold left over. Alright. All of the instructions for the items are clearly written on the labels attached, together with their suggested use. The game will prompt us when we need them. Unfortunately, the magic in the items only works once, but they're the best that we can buy. He wants to know why we're purchasing them, and we tell him about the conversation with Big Leg, and he knows all about what's happened. That an eagle stole the hammer from the dwarven village of Stonebridge, but it dropped it into the forest after it was attacked by deathhogs, which don't seem to be that dangerous. 2 goblins found it. They wrestled. They discovered that the hammer, the handle unscrewed from the head, and they took 1 piece each. The head is made of bronze and the handle of polished ebony. They both have the letter G inscribed in it. Good luck. And then we head into the forest. Let us turn for the first time. We'll head to the east as we go this way. The narrow path continues to cut its way through the tangled forest. Strange animal cries and noises echo through the trees. At last the path widens to approximately a metre across. Soon you arrive at a moss-covered wooden signpost, on top of which sits a large crow. The arms of the signpost read north and east. Just as you were deciding which way to continue, you hear the words, "Good afternoon." You look up in the direction of the voice and see the crow looking down at you inquisitively. "Good afternoon," you reply slowly, feeling a little foolish. The crow speaks again, asking which way you were headed. You reply that you were looking for 2 goblins, small sinewy creatures with brown scaly skin. "Oh, yeah. 1 gold piece will buy my advice," states the crow confidently. Will you pay the crow for its advice? Ignore the crow and turn north, or ignore the crow and carry on eastwards. I deliberately didn't buy everything so I had gold pieces to use during this adventure, and I think this would be an opportune moment. Let's pay the crow for its advice. You put a gold piece on top of the signpost as requested by the crow, after which it says, "Go north." You ask the crow why it needs gold pieces, and it replies that it needs 30 gold pieces to pay Yeztromo to turn it back into a human again. You bid the crow farewell. If you want to go north as advised by the crow, turn 8. If you'd rather continue eastwards, turn to 239. I sort of really wanted to go east to find out what would happen here. But we paid good money for this advice. Let's head north. Walking along the path, we hear footsteps and arguing voices ahead of us. If we wish to meet their owners... Well, we had 9 gold. We could meet their owners, or we can hide in the bushes to let them walk by. We don't hide in bushes, let's meet the owners. We draw our sword and prepare to meet the owners of the arguing voices. 2 tall, spindly creatures appear clad in tattered cloth, over which they wear chainmail jackets, which is the wrong way of doing that. They see us and instantly stop their argument. They are hobgoblins and draw their swords to attack us. We must fight. If we win, good. If we wish to escape during the battle, we can do so. The first hobgoblin is not that great. We deal a blow against the hobgoblin. Hopefully we're successful. Yes, we've got a +7. That should be okay. We've defeated the first hobgoblin. Now we must fight the second hobgoblin, who's significantly worse than his predecessor, but a little bit healthier. Rolled 11, but we were still able to best him. I'm so glad that counted as a 7. We have won the day! We are triumphant. We search through the pockets of the hobgoblins and find... Oh, yes! 3 gold pieces, a tiny brass flute, and 2 maggot-ridden biscuits, which will restore 1 stamina each. There is also a necklace made of mouse skulls around one of their necks. We found a tiny brass flute, Mr. Badmech. To the left of the path, we notice a large hole in the ground with a diameter of some 3 meters. Walking over to the edge of the hole, we see it sloping off into the depths of the earth. On our previous adventures, we have been asked by the story if we possessed a flute, and we did not. If we wish to walk down the hole, or we could continue past the hole to the north. Let's have a look at our map. Where are we? Oh, see, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Or we could go that way through here. Yeah. I'm probably going to do that. Here, and then that way. Hoping it will let me go that way. Let's check the hole, because one of the goblins might be down there. As we descend into the hole, we notice large amounts of slime secreted by some huge creature. If we wish to climb back out of the hole and continue walking northwards, we can do that. Or we could continue down the hole and see what happens. The slope is steep and we slip on the slime, tumbling head over heels down the hole to the bottom into a large earthen cavern. We jump to our feet and alarmed to see the shiny tip of a poisoned barb on the tail end of a huge stingworm coming straight at us. The stingworm is about 5 meters long and has huge yellow segments, but all you care about is protecting yourself from the barb. There's no time to scramble out of the hole. We must draw our sword and fight. It has a skill of 8. We're going to win that day. And that one. It's a poisoned barb. So, I'm assuming if we take any damage from this, we'll get poisoned. We do have that potion of anti-poison though. So we should be okay. Oh, I should have tested my luck on the last one. It's a draw, thankfully. Oh, we've got it. Thank goodness. We are triumphant. We walk around the lifeless bulk of the worm to examine the contents of its lair. There are several skeletons, perhaps belonging to other unfortunate adventurers. By the side of one of them, we find a leather backpack. Inside the backpack, we find 4 gold pieces and a small corked bottle containing a colourless liquid. If we wish to drink the contents of the bottle, we could do that. Or we could leave the dark cavern and scramble back up to the path again, just taking the gold. We're currently full stamina, full skill, full luck. Yep, alright, let's drink it. We look down at the bottle in our hand and quickly gulp down the contents. We wait several seconds for some reaction, but nothing happens. However, when we come to pick up our sword, which we had put down in order to examine the backpack, a surge of confidence runs through your body. The liquid is a potion of weapon skill, which adds 1 point to future dice rolls when computing your own attack strength during combat. Its effects will last for your next 2 combat encounters. Taking the gold, we scramble up out of the earthen cabin to the path above and continue our journey northward. Yes, weapon skill effect +2. +2? Really? Not +1? No, I'm not complaining. At last the trees begin to thin out and shafts of sunlight beam down through the gaps on either side of the path. As the path widens, we see a large cave entrance set a few yards back on the right. If we wish to examine the cave, we can do that, or we can continue northwards. Let's examine the cave. Let's check the map first. Oh wow, there's all of this stuff. Slowly, we peer into the cave and see the huge shape of an ogre walking slowly over to a wicker cage with a bowl of water in his great hand. He is dressed in animal furs and carries a stone club in his belt. There appears to be a small creature jumping around inside the cage. We may pick up a rock and throw it at the ogre, rush in and attack the ogre with our sword, or leave the cave and continue up the path. Now, do we have a glove of missile dexterity. Let's pick up a rock and throw it at the ogre. I love this plan. We're using our equipment. Do we possess a glove of missile dexterity? We sure do. We reach into our backpack and pull out the purple silk glove. It fits snugly on your hand, sort of like a glove. We then bend down and pick up a good-sized rock and take aim. We throw the rock with all our might at the ogre, and it flies like an arrow to hit him on the side of the head, knocking him unconscious. The creature in the cage jumps around even more than before. Should we take a look at the creature in the cage, search through the contents of the cave, or leave immediately and continue northwards? If the creature in the cage is one of the goblins that has half of the hammer, and believe me, this is the amount of places we've gone to so far without any of the hammer being found yet. Let's take a closer look at the creature in the cage. Inside the cage is a small, sinewy creature with brown, scaly skin. He is a goblin. Around his neck hangs a black, shiny rod on a leather cord. Do we want to unlock the cage door? Yes, we do. We unlock the door and step back, drawing our sword in case the goblin tries to attack you. He picks up a wooden stool and, waving it in the air, kicks the door open and charges at us screaming, "We must fight." Success! Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to stab him through the cage. +1 from weapon skill potion. Success! We are triumphant! We bend down over the lifeless body of the mad goblin and examine the rod around its neck. The rod is made of ebony, and there is a screw thread at one end. We are excited to see the letter G neatly inscribed at the other end of what must be the handle of the dwarvish one-hammer. We put our find in our backpack and gain 1 luck point. I think we were at full luck already, which is a bit of a shame. If we wish to search through the contents of the cave... Did I take damage earlier? No, we're still at full. Turn to 263, or we can peace out now. The ogre is unconscious, not dead. So I think we should probably leave right about now. Let's peace out of this cave before the ogre wakes up. What do you say? Tech, I finally got an arm for my microphone. I'm not sure if it's going to come into frame. Here it is. $15, including delivery on eBay. So yeah, happy with that. The model deliberately says, not compatible with the Blue Yeti microphone, but it is absolutely 100% compatible with it. It doesn't use this bit. So this bit is normally, this bit goes in the end of the thing, and this is where you put the microphone. And the Blue Yeti won't fit in there, but there's a screw thread here, and this is the same as the screw thread in the bottom of the Blue Yeti, and there's a bit here that just screws into the bottom of the Blue Yeti and then screws onto the end of the microphone. So yep, 100% works. I looked it up on YouTube before, and it's like, oh shit, I came across, yep, this is how you do it. You just unscrew this bit out and screw it into the bottom, and then it all screws together. Let's bounce. Let's leave the cave. Walking along the path, we do not notice a rope noose hidden beneath some fallen leaves ahead of us. Our foot catches in the noose, and suddenly we are hauled up into the air by the rope, which is tied to a sprung tree. In a second, we are hanging upside down, suspended by our trapped foot. Let us test our luck. Now, our luck is 11. We need to roll an 11 or... Thank you, Tech. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the hell out of your games. I'll see you again next time. How long have I got to go? Like 40 minutes. If we're lucky, our sword remains in its scabbard. Let's test our luck. We need an 11 or lower. That's what we want to see. We're able to cut ourselves down from the man trap. We get to our feet and curse, brushing the dirt from our clothes with our hands. We attempted to wait around to discover who set the trap, but decide not to do that. We continue north. We notice a knotted vine hanging down from the ground from a tree on our left. We look up and see a roughly made treehouse amid the branches. We could climb up the vine to the treehouse, or we could continue northward. I'm thinking that the other half of the hammer is in here somewhere. So we should be able to go from here, up here, and then through that way, and then back around past the murder hawks. So I'm liable to skip this. I'd like to actually finish the story. That would be fantastically awesome. I had a really good luck on the first one, and that let us know that, oh shit, the story keeps going, and we remember all of the information, and we keep the map, and we get more gold. So it's sort of a roguelike. I had no idea it was a roguelike choose your own adventure. What are we on? We're on full, right? Oh, we've used one luck. Ah, that was... okay, now it says +1. Yeah, okay. We have the handle. Ah, we got the mouse skull necklace. Alright, let's try the treehouse then. Oh shit. We reach the top of the vine and scramble onto a wooden platform. A sheet made from leaves and ferns covers the entrance to a small covered living area. As we approach, the sheet is thrown back, and from behind it steps a large and hairy ape-like creature wearing only an animal hide loincloth. He is holding a large bone in his right hand and grunts at you. He is an ape man. We may draw our sword and attack him, or jump off the platform to the ground 5 meters below. Let's attack. The ape man is very agile around the tree, and we have difficulty brandishing our sword. We lose 2 from our attack strength during each round of combat. We've got +1, so we're going to be at -1. Fine. That is oh, okay, we made it. +1 from weapon skill. Alright, keep going. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. Thank goodness. We've defeated the ape man. We step over the body of the ape man and enter his living area. Animal bones and rotting fruit litter the floor. The ape man's bed is made of moss and lichen and seems to be crawling with bugs. We shudder and step back out onto the platform. We then notice a copper bracelet around the ape man's wrist. If we want to put it on our own wrist, we could do that. And it sure did, Mr. B. If we want to put it on our own wrist and possibly turn into an ape man, we could do that, or we could ignore it. I'm okay with ignoring this copper bracelet. It's not a bronze hammerhead. That's all we're looking for, is a bronze hammerhead. I mean, if the option was take it off the ape man and see if he turns back into a human, and if he doesn't, then just drop it, then that would be one thing. But it's straight up put it on your own wrist without observing any changes. So I think we're going to ignore the hell out of that copper bracelet. I think it is a trap. And let's get out of here. Let's climb down to safety. Soon the path leads out of the trees onto a large plain with tall grasses. We're at full health. Beyond it we see rising ground and further off some low hills. The path splits and goes in 3 directions. Let's check our map. Let us head to the west. That's where we want to go this way, I think. The path ends at another junction. The way south leads back into the forest, and so we decide to head north. Excellent, that's what we wanted to do. Walking quickly along the path through waist-high grass, we arrive at another junction. We can continue north or go west. We're going to keep going north here. In the distance to the right of the path, you see large birds circling in the sky. As you get closer, you recognize them as vultures. If you wish to step off the path to see what or whom the vultures are interested in, let's do that, because it might be the goblin. We need to basically fully investigate this section. Ahead in the grass, you hear a low moan. You look up to see the vultures patiently waiting overhead. A few steps further and you see the ugly sight of a huge man with muscles like knotted iron staked out to the ground. His arms and legs are tied to 4 large wooden pegs driven deep into the ground. The man is naked except for a small loincloth, and his skin is badly blistered from the sun. His face and chest show bloodied signs of cruel torture. His captors will not have gained the information they sought from him because he is a barbarian. If we wish to cut him free, we can do that, or we could leave him in his agony and return to the path. Now, having played this game before, I know what the correct answer is because I remember this encounter. Mr. B, what do you think we should do? Mr. B wishes to free the barbarian. We cut the thick ropes holding the barbarian. He grunts and sit-ups to rub his wrists and ankles. He looks at us and sneers. He is either delirious or ungrateful, for he pulls out one of the wooden stakes from the ground and turns to fight. He sure does. That's exactly what happened to me last time I decided to be nice to people. We must fight. He's a reasonably good barbarian. We're going to win that though. And we're going to win that. And we're going to win that. And we're going to win that one. He's a good barbarian, but he's bad at rolling. That's the last time we're going to do anybody a favor for some time. Returning to the path, we head north again. Gradually, the grass around us becomes shorter as the ground gently starts to rise. Ahead we can hear the sound of flowing water. Soon we reach the bank of a slow-flowing river. The river is very shallow and stepping stones cross it from the far bank, where the path continues north in the distance. Should we try the stepping stones or wade through the shallow river? I think I remember what to do here, but I am not entirely sure. It's been a really long time since I played through this very poorly. I let Mr. Badmac made the last decision, so we're going to wade through the river. I seem to remember the stepping stones being a bad idea. Let's wade through the shallow water. I might be wrong. I was wrong. We step into the water and start to wade across the river. The water is quite murky, and although the level only rises to our waist, we feel somewhat vulnerable to the creatures that may live in the water. Suddenly, our fears are realized. We feel sharp teeth sinking into our thigh. We reach down into the water and feel the long, thin body of a blood eel extending from our leg. We draw our sword and start to stab the water. It has a skill of 5. That's 1. And... oh, we still made that. Cool. We are triumphant. Plus 8, I guess. We drag ourselves out of the water on the far bank of the river. We see that the path continues north into the hills, but as it is getting dark, we decide to make camp for the night under a large solitary tree to the right of the path. We build a fire and settle down to sleep with our sword by our side. So every time you cross the river, when you cross the river, that's when you make camp. We've been asleep for about an hour when the soft noise of fluttering wings wakes us up. We sit up and grab our sword, and in the light of the full moon, we see 3 large shapes flying towards us. They look like large bats, but as they swoop in, we see the unmistakable fangs of vampire bats. Do we possess garlic buds? We sure do. We got an achievement. Apotropathic Savior. We reach quickly. Hello, that I can't pronounce your name. Hello, welcome. We reach quickly into our backpack and pull out the garlic buds. The vampire bats close in on us, but veer away at the last second, screeching loudly. They hover above us, eager to drink our blood, but the garlic keeps them at bay. Eventually, they fly off in search of some other prey. Leaving the garlic by our side, we settle down to sleep again. In the morning, we collect our belongings and head north along the path. The ground is quite steep as the path winds its way into the hills. By the time we reach the top, the sun is quite hot. All around in the distance, we see the green circle of darkwood forest. Mist still hangs in the tall grass behind us, but ahead we see a valley floor bathed in sunlight. All is quiet. As we start down the far side of the hill, we see a junction in the path. We can continue north or head west. Let's continue north. Here's our map. North is a place we haven't been yet. We know we don't need to go here. We want to go through here and then that way. And then we'll have to go past the Deathhawks and whatever the hell that was. But was that the 3 wolves and the 3 Deathhawks? What did I just say? North. Let's continue north. The path runs north down the hill between large boulders and rocks. We have an uneasy feeling that we are being watched. Then, from behind one of the large boulders to the left of the path, spring 2 sinewy men with long hair and beards. They are wearing animal furs and look menacing. One notches an arrow to his bow and lets it fly. Test our luck. What's our luck? Our luck is currently 10. We need to roll a 10 or lower. Thank goodness. We are lucky. The arrow misses us and flies past our head. The men curse and jump up and down in anger at having missed us. They start to argue and push each other around. They seem to forget all about us. We could attack the Wild Hill Men, these Wild Hill Men that keep finding us at the end of the adventure. Or we can just peace out. Let's attack them. We draw our sword and charge at them, who stop their argument and turn towards us, screaming and wielding axes. I guess I could have been a bit quieter sneaking up on them. We fight! Alright, 13 skill versus 7 skill. That's a win for us. We've got a +6 to our roll. This second hillman is, we've got a +7 to our roll. We are triumphant. Around the neck... Oh, you don't say! Around the neck of one of the Wild Hillmen, we find a small silver key hanging on a small leather cord. We untie the cord and put the key in our backpack. So, a small silver key. Interesting. Walking down the hill, we see the valley floor stretching out ahead, and beyond a sinister wall of trees. Darkwood. On the other side of the trees lies Stonebridge, our journey's end. Arriving on the valley floor, we see that the path comes to a junction. If we want to head west and have not already done so, we can do that. Or we could head east. So we're here. We cannot head north from this direction. What we can do is head west and then head east here. But where was the... Let's head west, because I know that that key is in one of these places on this side. I don't know if it's this one. If it's this one, well, it has to be a place that we can get to. So it won't be either, it'll be either that one or that one. So let's head west. It'll mean that we don't get to explore that. I was really hoping to go north here and then through that way, but not so much. Let's head west. The valley floor is covered with lush green grass and is very flat. We can continue west or head north again. Oh, now we can head north. Okay. I do want to check out that house with the key though. So let's head west. To the left of the path, we see a smaller man with a long grey beard, sitting cross-legged on top of a huge mushroom. He is wearing a bright red jacket and cap, and his trousers are black and end at his knees. He is asleep and snoring loudly. We could wake him up, or we could just walk straight past him. Let's wake him up. Where are we anyway? Oh, we're here. Okay. Let's wake him up. The small man wakes up with a start, loses his balance, and falls off the mushroom. He curses as he lands on the ground, but jumps back on the mushroom, shouting, "Who did that? Who did that?" He looks at you and frowns. We're not going to attack him, but let's try talking with him. We approach the gnome with your arm extended, offering to shake his hand, an offer which he accepts with a doubtful look on his face. We then tell him of our quest, how we met poor Big Leg, and why we decided to help the dwarves of Stonebridge. We ask him if he has any information which may help us. He replies he does not care much for the dwarves, but he does have some information that might be useful to us. However, that information will cost us either 5 gold pieces or an item of treasure from our backpack. If we wish to pay the gnome for his information, we can do that. We can give him an item from our backpack, or we can just tell him what we think of him and set off to the west. We have things in here that we can send him. Apparently, we still have garlic buds. Alright. Or 5 gold pieces. I mean, I have 15 gold pieces. I have a mouse skull necklace. But that item might come in handy. I don't have anything that was specifically said, hey, this is worth gold. I haven't found a vendor here either. Let's give him an item from our backpack. Oh, okay. We've already used the glove of missile dexterity, so I'd be okay giving him that. None of the other items are what I would consider spare. Certainly not the warhammer handle. Not the brass flute. The potion of healing at this point is looking like it's a little redundant. Let's give him the glove of missile dexterity. As he accepts his payment, the gnome smiles and tells you he saw the skeleton of a goblin inside a stone crypt. Yah, silver key! Perhaps it was the skeleton of one of the 2 goblins who you were looking for, perhaps not. He says the crypt is somewhere north in the forest, but exactly where he's not sure. Good thinking, Mr. B. You are annoyed that the gnome does not have any more information. I'm not annoyed, I'm quite happy with this information, and set off west again at a fast pace. You arrive at another junction in the path. The way south leads back into the hills, so you ignore it and continue west. The path makes a sudden turn to the right and heads north across the valley floor. To the left of the path, you see a large pond with a small wooden hut with a thatched roof by its edge. Let's ignore the hell out of this hut. As we walk across the valley, we see a dark green wall of the darkwood forest looming up before us. The path leads directly into thick undergrowth, and soon you are walking beneath tall dark trees and thorny bushes. It is dark and quiet. The path forks. Let us continue north to the crypt. Maybe it's the crypt we need, maybe it's not. Amidst the trees to the left of the path, we see a small stone building covered with ivy and moss. Let us examine this building. So we are here. So this is the earth elemental hut, and this is the one. If it's not in here, we're not going to find it. We're going to have to do it again. The building measures only 3 meters by 3 meters and has no windows. The door is made of stone and looks very solid. There is no handle. There is no other way to enter the building. But we have a silver key. We take this small silver key from out of our backpack and place it into the keyhole. It fits perfectly and we give it a turn. If I hadn't spoken to the gnome and learned that there was a goblin skeleton within this building, I probably would have gone east and bypassed this place. Stone stairs lead down from the door into the gloomy depths. We cannot see a thing down the stairs, but we have a ring of light. So let's descend the stairs. You step carefully down the stone stairs, feeling your way as you go. Slowly your eyes become accustomed to the dark and you begin to make out shapes at the bottom of the stairs. You are standing in a small square room with a low ceiling. The floor is thick with dust and there are cobwebs everywhere. In the middle of the room, there is what appears to be a large stone box, measuring approximately 2 meters by 1 meter. The top of it is a great stone slab. Along one of the rough stone walls, you find a small alcove with a candle in it. You may light the candle. Let's light the candle. The light from the candle casts eerie shadows around the room. In the yellow light, you see the face of an old man carved into the stone slab top of the box. Then you notice the leg of a skeleton protruding from the shadows in the far corner of the room. You walk over to the skeleton to inspect it. The skeleton is small and the skull has sharp protruding teeth. It could be the skeleton of either a goblin or an orc. You walk over to the stone box. The slab on the top looks as if it could be moved. If you wish to try to lift the stone slab, we could do that. Or we could just leave. Let's lift the stone slab. We try with all our might to move the stone slab, but it will not budge. Do we have any dust of levitation? We do not. But there was no way of us getting... Where was the ogre? The ogre was here. So if we went... Okay, so we might need to do this again. If we go that way, fight the ogre, then go this way, do the arm wrestling, come back here, then go this way, fight the hillman, and then go this way. To get the dust levitation. The dust levitation might just be, it's difficult. No, we can't do it. Alright, well that is really, really frustrating. We're back at the... That's really frustrating. Alright, it's the Wyvern. Test our luck with the Wyvern. What's our luck at the moment? We need a 9 or higher. Oh shit, we rolled an 11. We got knocked to the ground. We're still alive. Yes, we have a flute. Fluky fluting. Tame a flying beast with music. We reach into the backpack and pull out the tiny brass flute. We have a strange feeling we must play it now before the enraged Wyvern. As we do, a soft and gentle sound plays out from the flute and a quizzical look appears on the Wyvern's face. Its mouth closes and its eyelids start to droop. We are playing the magical flute of dragon sleep and the Wyvern is powerless to resist its soothing song. Slowly the Wyvern slumps to the ground and is soon fast asleep. Let's try on the gauntlet. And then we keep going. It's these dudes. We can give them what they want. Actually, you know what? Maybe these guys have the... Can we fight these guys? Okay, adventure sheet. We're at 14 skill, 8 luck. We can use a potion of healing now to get up to 18. Alright, we've got lots of gold, but maybe we need to fight these guys to get the other half of the hammer. I mean, it's the only other thing we can do. Let's fight them. Death to the intruder! Alright, we've got a skill of 14 and they've got a skill of 8. So we're at +6. And we've won that one. And that one. And that one. Bandit leader is dead. We only needed to fight one of them. We win! The next two bandits approach. They've got a skill of 7. We've got a +7. Bandit 2 is dead. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. The next two bandits approach. Now there's 2 more bandits left. They've got a skill of 7 as well. That's still a win for us. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. That's a win for us. Oh, we've got +9 on this guy. That's a win for us. And that's a win for us. We are triumphant. 2 gold pieces. Alright, well, it was the only way we had of... we only have one of the items, and we head back. We've got 10 minutes. I can try rushing through to finishing this. We made our luck roll. Alright. Let's try rushing through. How much coin do we have this time? 57 coin. Nice. Okay. Bookmark. Alright. So, the things we need are... Potion of healing, always handy. Armband of strength. Glove of missile dexterity. We've got to rest here though. We need to go this way and then this way. Do the arm wrestling. And then go back this way, fight the hillmen. So we'll be crossing here, which is the werewolf attack. I mean, the other option is... Well, no, it can't be. It could be to the east. It could be over here. But I really want to get into there and see if we can do that. So, is there anything else we need along this way? Maybe the Boots of Leaping? I can't remember where that was. What else did we need? How much gold do we have? Can we just buy everything? I can probably just buy everything. I'm pretty sure we don't need to buy everything. We can certainly afford everything. But I don't know what else I might need. Alright. Okay, so we are going... east. And then we're just going to go north. And then That's right. It was the hobgoblins. We're going to kill those dudes. Oh! We would have won anyway, but... yeah, keep going. Alright. We kill the hobgoblins. We get the flute. Alright. Did we need to walk down the hole? We didn't need to walk down the hole. We got +1 to the combat, but it was... it wasn't a thing that we needed to do. Let's skip that. The cave is what we need to get into. We examine the cave. We pick up a rock and throw it. We've got the gloves of missile dexterity. We look at the creature. We unlock the cage. We fight the goblin. Wow, it hit us. We only needed to roll not a 3. It's fine. Everything's fine. Do we want to search through the rest of the cave just in case? Oh, I forgot about that. I could have used a lock. A small silver box. Let's open the silver box. We possess nose filters. Alright, so we have a silver box. And we found out why we needed nose filters. Alright, we're lucky. We cut ourselves down. We continue northwards. I don't feel the need to go and kill the ape man again. Alright, now we go west. Alright, west. Yep, we head north from here. Then we head west. There's a pack of dogs. Let's fight the dogs. We haven't done this before. Oh. We draw our sword and stand to face the pack of dogs. They come into view in a cloud of dust. Galloping behind them is a masked rider wearing a long flowing cloak and riding a white stallion. He blows a horn and the pack of dogs comes to a sudden halt in front of us. There are 4 of them and they're hunting dogs. The stallion stands motionless behind them with steam blowing from its nostrils in 2 long jets. The masked man looks at us without speaking. Let's start a conversation. We nod our head at the masked rider and bid him good day. He says nothing. We tell him of our quest to help the dwarves stone bridge. He jumps down and extends his right arm to shake our hand. Let's carry on the conversation. I don't need his gold. The man smiles and takes off his mask, explaining that he wore it to protect himself against the dust and not to hide the face of a robber. We sheathe our sword and relax a little. Oh, he gives us some belladonna. The man tells us that he is a hunter and the best game in all the northern borderlands can be found on this grassy plain within the Darkwood Forest. He says his hounds were chasing a wild boar when they lost its scent and picked up that of a fox. He warns us of some of the dangerous beasts that lurks in these paths, and finally says if you were going to spend the night in the Darkwood Forest, you might need some of this. He drops some belladonna onto your hand and jumps back on his stallion. Then with a sudden blow of his horn, the dogs run off east. He turns and waves to us before galloping off in pursuit of his dogs. We put the belladonna in our backpack. Alright, we keep heading west so that we can get the Dust of Levitation. We enter the hut. We accept the challenge. We have an armband of strength. We win the arm wrestling. We get our small glass vial. Dust of levitation. Alright. Now which way do we go? Alright, so now we go... Now we go north and then head east here, right? It says we can go east here, but... I think the belladonna was for this part. Was for the werewolf. So let's head north. We can walk through the waterfall. That's cool. We can fight the fishman. He's not that great. Well, we've just hit 3 hours. Alright, we settle down to sleep. We must fight the werewolf. He's got a skill of 8, but this time we have a skill of 13. Oh, that's going to be... He's just beaten us. I'm not going to test our luck right now. We have now taken damage. We can't reduce the damage to 0. Alright, I can test our luck now. We've got 10 luck, so we need to roll... You know what, let's just kill him. There we go. It's fine. If we hadn't taken any damage, I would have spent the luck to try killing him. Yes, we have belladonna. We lose 2 stamina instead of 4, I guess. And we get to sleep. Let me check the map. Alright, I nearly clicked north by accident. We head east here. And then we head north, and then there's the hillmen. We test our luck. We are lucky. We run in and kill them. And we're down to 9 luck. We've got a +7 on this guy. Right, we win. We get the key. We head north. And then we go back to the west. Now, we know we don't need this one, so we can go north here and then west. But we go west from here. We can go north. To the left of the path, we notice a large mud pool bubbling loudly. Steam rises from the thick bubble breaking the surface of the mud. Ooh. We can throw a gold piece into the mud and make a wish. Wow, we lose 1 luck point. Fuck you, game. Seriously? Let's rub some hot mud on our wounds. We regain 4 stamina, so we're nearly back up to full. We head north. Is a pterodactyl! High in the sky, we see a large flying creature. It is certainly bigger than any bird we have ever seen. As it comes close, we draw our sword. It screeches loudly, and we can see its long head and mouth full of sharp teeth. Its green skin is reptilian, and its wings span some 5 meters. There is nowhere to take cover on the valley floor, and we must fight the pterodactyl swooping down on us. That's a win for us. Doesn't matter what the bottom number is. That's good for us. That's very good for us. And that's good for us. Just made it. We win the fight. The loathsome pterodactyl lies in a crumpled heap where it crash to the floor after the fatal blow from your sword. Walking over to it, you notice a yellow arrow painted on the grass beside the path, pointing to the west. Pointing west? Yeah, let's follow the arrow. We follow 5 more arrows to the trunk of an old dead tree still rooted in the ground. We see that the trunk is hollow and the hole continues through the trunk into the ground to make a tunnel. It is dark down the hole and we cannot see how far it is to the bottom, but we have a ring of light. The light from your ring pierces the murky depths of the tree trunk and the tunnel below. You see a gold medallion hanging from a silk ribbon within your reach on the wooden peg. It is worth 5 gold pieces, and you put it in your backpack. We put it in our backpack. The bottom of the tunnel is some 5 meters below. Do we possess a rope of climbing? Yes, we do. You take the rope of climbing out of your backpack. As if it knows what to do, it wraps itself around the top of the tree trunk and descends the hole into the tunnel below, inviting you to climb down. Let's climb down. You climb down the rope to the tunnel below. Soon your eyes become accustomed to the dark, and the tunnel is only 1 meter high. We crawl along on our hands and knees to explore it. The tunnel goes deep underground, heading west some 60 meters before opening out onto a vast cavern with green slimy walls. A shaft of daylight shines down from the roof of the cavern, illuminating the floor. Small, pale-skinned humanoids are scattered about, and they appear to be tending crops of different coloured fungi. A stream trickles through the cavern. Stone steps arise past alcoves in the far wall to a hole in the roof through which the daylight streams. You draw your sword and approach one of the small humanoids. As you get nearer, you see that they are hairless and their eyes are blank. They seem totally uninterested in your presence, walking slowly between the rows of fungi and bending down occasionally to remove unwelcome insects and weed from the crops. We may attack one of the small humanoids, chop down one of the fungi, demand to eat a green-topped fungus, or demand to eat a red-topped fungus. Well, shit. We have the anti-poison. So... green? Attacking them seems... green. We gain 4 stamina points. You shout at 2 humanoids who are tending to a patch of green-topped fungi. They ignore you, continuing with their work. You grab hold of a fungus top, breaking a piece off, and start to eat. It tastes good and adds strength to your body. We gain 4 stamina points. We're at full health. I was hoping for luck. There does not seem to be much sense in staying here any longer as you walk over to the steps on the far wall. The steps are made of stone, chiseled into the wall of the cavern. They are wet from the slime which drips down the walls. We see there are 3 alcoves leading off the steps into the cavern wall at various intervals up to the roof. They are each 3 meters high. You climb the steps and peer into the gloom of the first alcove where you can see a barrel and a wooden chest. Let's look in the barrel. Inside the barrel, you find a heavy iron shield. I don't think we need one. Sorry, Mr. B, I completely missed your vote on red. Hello, the crosshair. I'm running over time. We thought we had finished, but I got a little bit distracted by a pterodactyl. And then some arrows. Let's not worry about the heavy iron shield. We could try opening the chest. We gain 1 luck point. We raise our sword above our head and smash it down on the wooden chest. It splinters into tiny pieces. Amongst the broken bits of wood, we find 8 gold pieces, and we gain a luck point back. That is excellent. We're now back up to 9 luck. Let's leave the alcove. There's a second alcove. We see vague shapes in the dark and hear the sound of shuffling feet. That could be our goblin. Let's enter the alcove. Clone warriors! Inside the alcove we see four more of the small humanoids, but these wear leather armor and carry long spears. They move to attack you, and you are forced to fight the clone warriors. They come at you one at a time. We must fight. They are terrible fighters. We have +8 to our roll. Oh, I'm glad that wasn't a 6, or we would have been in trouble. That's Clone Warrior number 1. This Clone Warrior is a bit better. We've got +7 to our roll. Clone Warrior number 3 is worse, but heartier. And Clone Warrior number 4 is not very good either. We've won the day! As each clone warrior dies, it dissolves into a pool of coloured liquid on the rocky floor. Not wishing to stay in this dank and musty alcove any longer, we leave and climb further up the steps. Just as we reach the last steps before the next alcove, a jet of flame shoots out to bar our way. Then a huge dark shape steps out from the alcove with flame shooting from its nostrils. Black smoke curls up in the air. The beast is shaped like a man but has wings and carries a flaming sword in one hand and a whip in the other. A golden crown sits on its head. It faces you motionless on the steps above you. Suddenly it cracks its whip and raises its fiery sword. The only way out of this cavern lies before you at the top of the steps. To get there, you have to fight the Fire Demon, Master of the Clones. You must fight. In its addition to its normal attack with its fiery sword, throw 1 die every attack round for its whip. On a roll of 1 or 2, it lashes you for 1 point of stamina. 3 is 6 misses the whip. It's possible to use your luck against the whip. Alright, so if there's an extra die roll where it tries whipping us for extra stamina. Alright, it has a... so we've got a +3 to our die roll. That's fantastic. We're good so far, so good. We've beaten that one as well. Okay, that's 1 stamina from the whip. I'm okay with that. Only 1 stamina. Oh, he's hit us. I'm okay with that. That's fine. 1 more good roll. That's us. We're out of here. It whips us on the way out. But we have won the day. In its dying throes, the black fire demon is engulfed by its own fire. We step forward and grab its crown as it slumps to the ground in a smouldering heap. Its alcove lair is cold and dank. Inside, there is a magnificent throne in front of which cower 2 clone warriors on their hands and knees, bowing to you in worship. You have defeated their master. We may place the crown on our head, sit on the throne, or step over the fire demon and climb up to the roof. We have 1 job here, people. We have 1 job, and that is to find this damn hammer and return it to Stonebridge. We do not need to become the warrior king of the fire demon king of the clone warriors. I am not sitting on the throne. I am tempted to place the crown on my head. But I am more tempted to get the hell out of here, especially as we are already 14 minutes over time. We look back into the strange cavern and see the humanoid clone workers continuing their labours in the fungi fields. We shake our head in disbelief and run up the last few steps of the hole to the cavern roof. We climb the last few steps and then are out of the cavern, standing on the rich green grass of the valley floor. To the east we see the hollow tree trunk down which we descended some time before. We pass it and return to the path where we head north again. Continuing on your walk along the valley floor, we see the dark wall of the Darkwood Forest looming up before us once again. The path leads directly into the thick undergrowth, and soon we are walking between tall trees and crowded thorn bushes. It is dark and quiet. Before long, the path comes to a junction, west or east. We are going to head west. It forces us north. We get to the small stone building covered in ivy and moss. We have a silver key for the tiny keyhole. We descend the stairs. We step carefully down the stairs, feeling our way as we go. It's very dark. There's a stone box and we find a candle. Let's light the candle. The stone box has the face of an old man and there's a small skeleton beneath it. It might be our goblin or it could be an orc. Let's lift the stone slab. This time we have the dust of levitation. We take from our backpack the glass vial containing the sparkling dust and sprinkle it on the stone slab. Slowly the stone slab starts to rise in the air. We peer into the box and are horrified to see a rotting corpse lying there. Ragged clothes cover a skeletal body with loose flesh hanging from it. We have lifted the coffin containing some cursed undead creature and jump back in horror as we see its eyes flick open. We are in a crypt made foul by some unknown follower of darkness. Slowly the creature rises out of its coffin and towards us with outstretched arms. Do we possess any holy water? We sure do. 40,000 cheers. Find the two halves of the dwarvish hammer. Achievement accomplished. We reach into our backpack and pull out the small bottle of holy water. Quickly removing the cork, we throw the water at the advancing ghoul. Thick smoke rises into the air from the burn marks made by the holy water on the putrid flesh of the ghoul. The ghoul appears to be in great pain, but through its wide open mouth no sound is heard. It crawls into a corner of the room, desperate to escape our godly weapon. We walk over to the coffin and look inside. We are overjoyed to see, as well as 25 gold pieces, an object that the ghoul was using as a headrest, a bronze hammerhead with the letter G inscribed in it. We happily put our findings into our backpack and walk back up the stairs to leave the crypt and return to the path to head north. The path presses on northward through the dense trees, then it makes a sudden turn to the right and heads east. The path is so overgrown in places we have to use our sword to cut through it. Our walk east is long and tiring. At last we reach a junction in the path. Looking at Big Leg's map, we decide to head north again in the direction of Stonebridge and ignore the narrow path continuing east. The path opens into a small clearing. To our right we see a pile of branches, grass and pieces of rag, the lair of some creature. Amongst the debris of old bones scattered about, we catch sight of something glittering. We have what I need. I've survived this run 4 times. This stream was the first time I made it through without dying. It was unbelievable. I played this game before, not for a really long time, but I had played it before, and every time I tried going through the forest, I died horribly. I had no idea you could actually survive getting through the forest. I had no idea until this stream. It was like, wow, this is actually amazing. If we want to look more closely, we have everything we need. Let's hurry north along the path. Walking along the narrow path, we suddenly hear the sharp crack of a twig breaking and the whispering of low voices. It's a bunch of bandits. Let's give them some stuff so we can get out of here. Hi, you can have this potion, and this potion, and this potion, and what else have we used already? This stick. And this ring that I already used. Alright, off we go. Oh, they would have taken the mouse skull necklace as well. The bandit woman takes the items from us. We head north. We are out of the Darkwood Forest. The path leads through the field to a stone bridge over a clear stream. Beyond the bridge are the small cottages and wooden huts of the village. A sign on the bridge reads, Stone Bridge. Not very imaginative. We cross the bridge and see two old dwarves with long white beards standing by a cottage looking at us. Do we have the hammerhead and the handle with the letter G inscribed in them? Yes, we do. Adventurer win. Find the ultimate ending in medium mode. We walk up to the old dwarves and ask them to take us to Gillibrand. They eye us suspiciously but agree to do so, commenting on our wounds and torn clothing. We're only a little bit wounded. We could take our potion of healing and be not wounded at all. We still have 49 gold. You got those in Darkwood Forest, I presume, says one of the dwarves, pointing at various gashes on your body with his long clay pipe. Some people never learn. Adventurers are all the same. I can't see the sense in it myself. You walk through the village behind the two dwarves and aware of many dwarvish folk watching you. They begin to follow you and a procession builds up behind. There are lots of mutterings and whisperings amongst the crowd of dwarves and expectant looks show on their faces. Soon you arrive at the foot of stone steps leading up to a stone building. Outside the stone building on Onote's wooden throne sits a small old man with a long beard. I've been doing the different voices as we go. He is wearing a crown but looks miserable and holds his head in his hands. You run up the steps, taking the hammerhead and handle from your backpack. At the sight of them, the old dwarf's eyes light up and he jumps to his feet. Taking them eagerly from you, he starts to shout, My hammer! My hammer! We are saved! Now, my people, we are ready to fight the trolls! The whole crowd erupts into cheering, waving their axes and swords in the air. You tell Gillibrand of Big Leg's misfortune and why you decided to continue his quest, and of all the monsters you have encountered on your way. Gillibrand listens and frowns at the news of Big Leg, his faithful servant. Then he opens a drawer in the base of the throne and reaches into it, pulling out a small silver box and a golden winged helmet, and hands them to you. The helmet is worth hundreds of gold pieces, and you proudly place it on your head. A great roar of approval comes from the crowd. You open the silver box and find dozens of jewels and gems. You put these in your backpack and wave to the happy dwarves of Stonebridge. Your quest is over, and you are now wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. The end. Hooray! We did it, everybody! We survived the Forest of Doom. I am so glad. Yay! Thank you, everybody, for joining me on today's Now for Something a Bit Different. I will exit that. Yes, sure. Please save my progress. Thank you for joining me today on And Now for Something a Bit Different, The Forest of Doom. I had not played that for a really long time. And I was like, oh, I know something I could be cool. If we do a choose your own adventure, I've got one of those already installed. We can do that. I'm glad. I had a couple of people here to help make decisions and whatnot. And that was really the best part. It's like, and then we won at the end. It's like, no, we can do it. We're nearly there. We just need to buy all of the things in case I need them. And maybe it's down to follow these yellow signs. Nope, wasn't there. It was in that crypt all along. Hurrah. I will be, I haven't done the recap yet. So I'll be spending the rest of today doing the recap. I don't have any food in the house. I need to go to the shops and go shopping and then come back and rewatch last week's episode and do the recap. But I'll be doing that tonight, or this afternoon rather. Tomorrow morning I'll be back with more Skyrim. I need to remember to change the thing. I need to upload this video. I won't be able to export the 2 halves from Twitch. Yeah, I'll be back on with Skyrim at 3 p.m. EST, 12 noon Pacific, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for me. Following which will be Changeling the streaming. If I haven't finished doing the recap tonight, which will be very unlikely, then I'll do that instead of Skyrim tomorrow morning. but it's very likely I'll have finished doing that tonight. I have the rest of the day to devote to that. I've had a pretty busy week. I also need. Well, that's what I did 2 weeks ago. I did the live recap 2 weeks ago in this time slot for my Sunday stream. I had a couple of people tune in and go, "Yeah, that was cool," and I said I could do that again if people want, and nobody seemed interested. And it's like, well, once you've seen it once, that kind of takes out the magic of it. Oh, an actual live recap, like actual live. The only time I've done that is during the marathon stream. So that was interesting. It was like, yes, we've got a marathon stream, and it's like, and we don't have a recap. Wait, yes, John, you do. I've been taking notes. And he's like, oh shit, let's do it. So that was fun. I was planning on doing a live recap when I was going to be in Montreal this year, but I had to cancel. So that kind of sucks. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've been watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can follow me at CaptDaf on Twitch and Twitter to get notifications of when my streams go live and insights into the rest of my life, as boring as that can be a lot of the time. Thank you, Mr. B, especially, Crosshair, Julian, Tech, other people who rocked up as well in chat, especially in this stream with the Choose Your Own Adventure. Your presence and input is definitely appreciated. I will see you again next time, and until I do, drive fast and take chances. Bye.